right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Fish and Grits Live. Today is June 1st, 2021, officially episode 55. As always, I am joined by my two esteemed co-hosts, Marco Restrepo, the man of mystery, the man of many talents. How are you doing today, sir? Is Marco a character? Do we not know who the real Marco is? Micah, Mr. Hulk Smash, how you doing today, sir? Doing all right. You know, catching up on a little sleep here after this crazy weekend we've had at the house, and did some work today. Just didn't feel right. I still don't feel like I know what day it is. Your clock gets messed with a little bit, and it's like, what's going on? On Friday night or Saturday, I think Saturday night, I didn't get back in the house until 2 and go in bed till like 3, and then the following night I was up again till like 4, and it's just been a lot going on at the house, so it's really messed me up. Like today at work, I was like, I don't know what's going on. I feel so off. It's like, damn, that's when you know you're old. You're like, I miss some sleep, and I don't know what's going on anymore. Yeah, that's honestly how I felt all day, just kind of like I'm in a fog. But let's skip current events. There was not too much going on that I want to talk about today. I really don't want to talk about chocolate chip. I don't want to talk about any of that dumb stuff. That's Joe Biden's favorite ice cream flavor. Yeah. And of course, you know, some people are like, oh, you know what that means? It's like, shut up. I saw the pop-up, but I did not read anything about it, so I know nothing. So if y'all want to fill me in and fill our audience in. Micah, you can go on that one. Hold on, actually. I realized that we are not capturing any of the right audio on the stream.
Wow.
Say it now. There we go. Wow. So they didn't hear anything that you guys said. Marco, recap what we're talking about just really briefly, and then we can get into it.
Oh, okay. So when Osaka, what's her first name? What's her
Naomi?
Yeah.
Naomi Osaka. She decided that she was not going to talk to the press because she didn't want to talk to anybody who doubted her. So that was like on Friday. So then come Sunday, she decided that she didn't want to be a distraction to the tour. So she decided that she was going to withdraw. But when she decided she wasn't going to talk to the press, I thought she was doing that to create, some type of conversation. But then to come around and say I didn't want to be a distraction is a little weird.
Yeah, it's just weird to me. I don't understand it. Just confusing. If anything, like I said, she could have just pulled a Marshawn Lynch, right. And when they ask her a question, you know why I'm here. I'm only here because I have to be.
It's like, yeah, you could, or even just like voice whatever discomforts you have with your mental health or whatever to the press, so that we can understand where you're coming from. But I guess the whole thing, all in all, is sort of like a mental. Her argument is that she doesn't have space for mental health. or something to that effect. But it's like, I don't know. You got to communicate. Like, I don't know how people are ever going to help you or feel empathy towards you if you don't communicate.
Yeah. How she's not giving us any relation points to,
Right.
To really be like, oh yeah, I know how you feel. It's just like, this doesn't let this do this for me. So I'm going to.
Right. And not that she's like, we're entitled. Not that like empathy is just like something that we shouldn't have for her anyway, but at the same time, it's like you are a tennis player and that you get paid to play tennis.
Right. You're living a dream that many of us never got to live.
And one component of it that I thought might have contributed to her bowing out on Sunday was the fact that they said they were going to start finding her $15K for every press conference she met. And I'm like, wait, how much money does she have? I don't think she has NBA money to just be taking $15K fines in stride.
I mean, she probably makes she's probably a low millionaire because she's won several of their major events, and I think she's got some endorsements. But even still, I mean, if you're making if you're worth $3-4 million, that $15K is still a big chunk. So.
It really is. So she only missed one day of press.
Yeah.
Apparently, she earned $40 million between June 2019 and June 2020.
Oh wow, yeah.
Wow.
So that she's doing well, but still, that $15K is still a pretty chunk. That's not a small chunk of money.
Right. So if she earned 40 million, then you'd say she might have about 20 million. So I mean, yeah, it's still 15K might not be a lot might but it's still a lot.
Her net worth is 55.
I'm telling you, I'd be Marshawn Lynching it, or Russell Westbrook in that one interview, participation, good execution and hustle. I just all I did was hustle and execute. That's all I did.
Both teams played hard.
Yeah. So wait, hold on. Who is fining her?
The organization.
How?
Whatever.
She's not a member of a team. She's not.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's almost like PGA almost. Yeah. Where you're still part of their larger organization, even though you're individuals, you still have to report to a. I can't think of the name.
Tennis has a hierarchy.
So, even though it's like one of those things that's really hard to do, you have to break into it, and you're not like a member of an organization, and you're not like you're your own athlete. You're still like it. You figured that tennis is like a at will type of thing.
Is it the ATP, the Association of the Tennis Professionals?
I think so. It's like with the PGA. You still, even though you're your own individual athlete, you still report to the PGA, and anything you do is like they sanction the events that you play in, so you still kind of answer to them.
Like, I get that. It just seems kind of shady that you can be like, hey, come participate in this, and they can not play when they don't want to.
Right.
But you also fine them.
But I guess as long as you're participating, then certain things are mandatory, like press. I
guess if you are actually in that event and you're playing, that makes more sense. If you're going to participate, you have to participate in.
Yeah, because you're marketing our product, especially when you're the most successful, the uprising star in our product.
Yeah, I get that. That makes more sense to me than just thinking of it as a bunch of individuals going to tournaments, kind of like how golf is.
Yeah, but even golf,
you can qualify. I mean, Steve, if as long as he pays the fees, to do it, he can qualify for an event. He just has to pay his way in.
I mean, and that also poses the question.
Tennis, can you?
Huh?
I don't think you can just show up to a tournament and be like, hey, because there's no.
Well, but you still, even with golf, you still have to be a certain level of golfer.
Yeah, to qualify.
Qualify.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not like
Curry didn't qualify for whatever tournament he tried to play.
I couldn't just go to Augusta National and be like, hey, I want to join. What's your scratch?
5.
But yes,
I don't even know how to answer that. What is your scratch, like your score, your average score?
Yeah, like your hand. Well, they typically go like handicap. and like me, it'd be like 36.
Right. If you have anything negative is really good.
But right, I get the scoring, I get that, but like scratch. What is scratch? What is?
I don't. I mean, that was the first.
Yeah, no, like I've heard these golf terms, but I thought about it. I was like, I don't really know what that is.
I do wonder though, because like pretty much press only wants to talk to you if there's something to talk about, right? So I doubt every single athlete gets asked to come speak to the press, right? Like,
I'm sure they all do. I'm sure they all do, but it's just the extent of the questions and whether or not, like, hey, how's it being your first tournament in there? Cool. All right, next.
It was awesome. Thanks for asking. How was it to lose to Serena in the first round?
What does it mean to you to play in such a prestigious event? It's like,
It was really cool. I got my ass kicked.
Right.
Man, I need to go back to my day job.
Right. I was pretty much dead meat.
Maybe I need to practice more. All right, let's get into some NFL talk. Let's get into the grits blitz.
Blue 32, blue 32.
Blitz.
All right, so let me get me to the front here. So we talked about it last time. The whole NFL world is revolving around Atlanta at this moment, and it's really only because Julio Jones and that Shannon Sharp call. It was rumored before that Julio was probably going to be gone, but now it's a for sure thing with him confirming it live on air, and it's just been, it's been a countdown until June 1st because this is the day that the new NFL year starts, the cap shifts. We can now get out from underneath Julio without losing money on the deal. We can actually save money a little bit this year to get it and ship Julio out. So that's why everyone's been counting down to this day. And now here we are, June 1st, and everyone's looking at Atlanta like, who are you going to give him to? Who are you trading Julio to? And that's what we've been living with for the past week and a half. Every article, every Bleacher Report pop-up, every ESPN article that has popped up on any Atlanta Falcons fans' phones have been related to Julio Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Or what we're going to talk about here in the next segment, the Hawks. But really, I would say 99% of my little banner pop-ups has been Seattle interested in Julio Jones. Ravens interested. Rams falling out of interest from Julio Jones. Pats willing to give first-round pick. Titans willing to give first-round pick for Julio Jones. Do the Buccaneers Bears know who Julio Jones is? Why isn't my team trading for Julio Jones?
I got one that said the Bears are planning on trading for Julio now. And it's like...
Give us a pick in Khalil Mack.
Right.
Eat Khalil Mack's contract and Julio's contract, and you've got yourself a deal.
Yeah, that Mack contract is huge. I forgot about it. He's over $100 million, wasn't he?
Yeah, he got his contract right before Aaron Donald, so it was kind of Aaron Donald was like paced off of that.
Man, imagine Khalil Mack in a Dean Pease defense.
Bruh, it's 25 sacks in the season.
Man, I'm telling you, he'd be coming from all over the place. Pause. So here we are, June 1st. And let me check my phone real quick, make sure I haven't missed anything. No Bleacher Report updates. Julio Jones is still a Falcon at this moment in time. It could break any moment. It could take a week. Who knows? But we do know that the Falcons have been receiving offers from all over the place. They've been talking to teams left and right. As every day passes, more and more teams enter into this Julio Jones mania. And I'm gonna list some of the teams here in a second. I kind of rambled them off a second ago, and talk about what we've heard as possible deals for Julio. But then we'll talk about it, and what we're all hoping to get back, and then what life after Julio is going to look like. So the most prominent and the most rumored I've heard, and the most likely landing places for Julio has been the Titans. They have been rumored at first to offer a first-round pick for him. It then morphed into the Titans offering up a second for him with the added sweetener that they would essentially absorb all of Julio's contract for us. So we would get out from underneath a ton of money then. Instead of it just being like $15 million, we would get out from underneath like $38 million worth of salary. And that would just change the game for this franchise. Then it was the Seahawks. They've entered into this lately, but they're supposed to be a strong front runner because they have a lot of weapons they can give up for us. They don't value first round picks as much as other teams do, like Brett Coleman has alluded to, and like what their history is. And Russell Wilson is there, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and apparently Russell and Julio have a pretty good relationship. The Patriots were a strong front runner at first. They've kind of faded here and fizzled a little bit. They've apparently offered up a first in Sony Michel. Now, who knows how much of this is true? How much of this is just like people going, I heard from my brother who works for the Patriots. Like, who knows the validity of these sources? But these are the teams and their most rumored offers. The Colts are willing to part with picks. They don't know. It hasn't been rumored which ones, but picks are what they're going to be offering us since they believe they're in a win now mode. The Packers have now entered into this for the fray, and that's because Packers contingents believe that they could keep Aaron Rodgers if they got Julio Jones, and Aaron Rodgers has a very low cap hit this year, so they could possibly make something work. The Ravens, we talked about them several times before, but they've kind of been fading from the pack, and then the Rams were rumored very very strongly there for a while, but have recently been announced that they're probably out of the sweepstakes. So now we know what kind of the market is for Julio. We kind of know what the Falcons are looking for, and we kind of understand better what we could possibly get for one of the best receivers of all time in football at the age of 32. So first and foremost, what do you guys think of the offers that we've heard, and what are you hoping to get back from Julio? And Mike, I'm going to let you lead this one off since you are our resident Julio stan.
So just going through that list of teams, I really like the Titans offer. If second and eat all his contract. If we're going to do that, I mean, that's really, really appeasing just because of the fact that you're willing to take the full cap hit. So we can, like you said, get out of that contract without, like, basically, and have cap space to build other needs. Because if we can get rid of him and not have to worry about that dead cap money, we could potentially go and get a decent name defender or something else to address some of these other issues, and sign all our draft picks and not have to worry about that. Like I said, the effects of trading him, the dead cap space. Seahawks, I haven't really heard much about that deal. Now, granted, what they're offering, I do know that I know he wouldn't mind playing with Russ because, I mean, what receiver doesn't want to play with Russell Wilson? I was almost saying Westbrook.
I know quite a few players that don't want to play with Russell Westbrook.
Hey,
KD
NFL, he might be completely different in the NFL than he is in the NBA.
He'd be a damn good cornerback.
Boy.
Good quarterback.
No, that's Kyrie.
So the Pats, the first is appealing, but Sony Michel is absolutely not. No cartilage in either one of his knees. Nah, I'm staying away from any running back whose knees are in that bad. It's Gurley 2.0. It's maybe even worse. So
yeah, because it's younger, he hasn't. Yeah, he's younger with worse knees.
Yeah, he's bone on knees already at like 26.
Before he even played an NFL snap, he was bone on bone.
Yeah, and his explosiveness is pretty much gone. Let me see. Colts, I think actually could offer us a very sizable deal, good deal. And like you said, they're in win now mode. We can potentially get, if we get like a second and a fourth, that'd be very appealing too for them. And I think I don't know if they still have the cap space because they had a ton of cap a while ago, but I don't know if they still have the cap space to eat his whole contract. But if they're willing to do that too, oh yeah, bring it on. Packers, I don't know how they would pull that off because even though Aaron's contract,
they've got $14 million, by the way. That's it.
Oh, the Colts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But I think they could make it work.
Yeah. I'm sure they have more next year. Let's see. Before you go on, you have oh my God, they have $83 million next year.
yeah, they can make it work. So the Packers, I doubt the Packers will make them move. First of all, that front office is very headstrong, and I think they're in a position. Granted, I literally watched on Twitter the other day, and they were going back and forth. Like majority of Packers, there's a large portion of Packers Nation that believes that they would have been as good without Aaron Rodgers. That Aaron Rodgers didn't make the team. That they're good because of coaching and drafting as opposed to Aaron Rodgers. So I think the GM is technically kind of arrogant too. So I don't know if they make that move to keep Aaron. I think they might just be like, screw you, Aaron. We built the perfect team here. You just got to get along with the program.
I mean, that is a damn good team. I will give them that. They're very good.
Yeah, but Julio's not going to go into or want to go into a situation that already looks toxic.
Right.
Defensively, they're and offensively, without Aaron Rodgers, they're not very good. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Equanimous St. Brown always hurt. So outside of Devontae Adams, it's like
no one knows what Jordan Love is either. I don't care what they talk about him throwing at stationary objects. Okay.
So yeah, Ravens. I think if the Ravens had more to offer, that'd be a great place for Julio to go. But I mean, I don't know what they are. I don't think they're in a great position cap wise, and they don't have much to offer outside of maybe a pick or two.
Unless they give up like one of those corners they got.
Yeah, but they draft well, so of course they value all of their draft picks.
Right.
And I can understand why the Rams are backing off. Rams have been in cap hell for a while now.
Especially, so I think it's important to throw out there as well that it has been rumored that there's a strong possibility that once Julio is traded, the new team is going to have to give him a new contract. He is already wanting a new contract 2 years after doing the exact same thing. So he's really been showing his proverbial ass out here lately, if that's true. Marco. Oh, wait. Sorry, Micah, if you want to finish.
Why? Nah, I was just going to say, I don't know exactly. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, we do see the media sometimes try to poison minds on certain things, throw things out there to make people look bad. But I mean, I don't know. It could be true. If it is what it is, bro. Like I said, the Colts, good luck to you. Titans, good luck to you, because y'all probably are the only two that can afford to deal with that if you do take on that contract. So
so I mean, my only requirements, so obviously the Tennessee situation is the best fit because they're gonna anything that a team can do to take all that money off of our books is gonna be a heaven scenario. And I'd say that if they're that desperate to get Julio, then you gotta let them have Julio, like because that'll open up so much. Even if this year maybe we don't get the equal talent back for him, that'll pay off in the long run. Other than that, just in terms of location wise, I'm gonna say the Colts, any team, or the Ravens. I don't want him to be in the NFC because I don't. Even though, like, if you send him to the Seahawks, Russell would finally have his MVP season.
Right, honestly.
But for the first time in I feel like 10 years, we don't have to play the freaking Seahawks this season. Thank God. So, I mean, that would also be great for Julio. But yeah, anywhere in the AFC is going to be good for me. I'd take a third round, second round pick, and if we can get some talent that'd be worth it as well. But I'd go with the Titans though, just because they're willing to do that crazy nonsense. Let's take them up on it.
Marco, if we can get a second for Mohamed Sanu, it's second or more for Julio Jones. Ain't no thirds.
Right. But I mean, the Patriots. I don't know what was that the Patriots who did that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they were desperate for a receiver.
Yeah, they were desperate as hell, and that was mid-season. So we were able to coax that out of them just for need.
A 30-year-old receiver who wasn't a burner.
Right. But didn't have injury issues. But he's also just not that talented. But I don't know. I think Julio could get us a strong second though.
Yeah, I think that second plus, a cap absorption, that's where Julio sets you apart, sets him apart from there. Because it wouldn't just be like a second. Julio and Muhammad both went for a second. Like,
right.
Julio went for a second and then $38 million.
Right.
So I'm looking at this list and it's making me wonder. And I'm gonna name the tandems or trios that it would be. And I want y'all to answer who, if Julio went to these teams and this is what the three-headed monster it formed, who would be the most dangerous? Do you think?
I already know who the most dangerous would be. If he went to Seattle and you put him with DK and Lockett and Julio, it'd just be like, bruh, come on, man. Russell Wilson just be scrambling around and throwing the ball. It'd be like 5,000. Throw it up.
Well, hold on, because that was the one that stood out as far as the sexiest goes in my head. But then I had to think a little bit deeper. So Titans, you would have AJ Brown, who is essentially Julio light, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, and then you got Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if Tannehill can keep up what he did last season, his numbers would obviously look even better having Julio there.
Julio's just going to get mad when he doesn't take those chances. He'll be like, what the hell? I was wide open.
Let me get to the whole list before y'all. So then you got Seahawks, like Micah mentioned, Metcalf and Julio with Russ. I don't know if Lockett would survive this trade, Micah. I'm not certain that he would. But if he did, holy shit. Lockett in the slot. It was a 1,100-yard receiver.
Everybody's 4-3 or faster.
You could throw anyone in the slot when you got DK and Julio.
Honestly, whatever. Yeah, go to the slot.
Everybody's 4-3 and faster.
The Patriots.
With Cam
and Julio. That's what it would be. The
Packers. Maybe they had fun together.
The Packers would be Devontae Adams, Julio, Aaron Rodgers,
Jordan Love.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, who in his own right is a touchdown machine. Then you go to the Ravens, and it would be obviously Lamar Jackson, Julio, Hollywood, Marquise Hollywood Brown, Andrews at tight end, and they got what's their face? They got that receiver this year in the draft.
Julio would that'd be a lot of pressure for Julio to go in there.
Pressure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we won't even mention the Rams since they backed out. But
Colts.
Yeah, Colts would be T.Y. Hilton. Who's their starter? It wouldn't be.
Running back. Ooh.
It's damn it, I can picture.
He was pretty good.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I think
Jonathan Taylor. Yeah,
who was a beast. And then Wentz running the show. So which of these, and Mike has already given his answer. So Marco, which of these would be the scariest to you, with Julio added into the mix?
I mean, definitely Seattle. I mean, put Russell Wilson.
You did it too.
Put Russell Wilson with Julio Jones, and I'm scared to watch if especially if we got to play them in the playoffs.
Bruh.
Oh my God.
Like that's the one thing. He's one of the few quarterbacks who has a strong enough arm that he can't overthrow Julio. Julio can't outrun his throw. So it's just like, God, bro, that's ridiculous. Like on the run, hitting Julio 50-something yards downfield, which is something Julio didn't have here in Atlanta. So
And I feel Julio halfway through the season will save Russell Wilson for when he starts getting, I don't know if he gets bored or if he just gets inaccurate. I don't know what happens, but I think having a Julio will save him from that stretch where everybody's like, MVP? Never mind.
Plus Julio doesn't have those drop things that DK Metcalf has. Good God.
DK has mittens on his hands.
Bruh, but that's what scares me the most about it, is because we all have seen for over the years how Julio's helped develop receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine DK Metcalf working with Julio and becoming a better route runner and more consistent catching the ball. It'd be like, bruh.
He was already an elite receiver.
Like, bruh, you just created another one of yourself, basically.
Yeah.
A clone.
Honestly, like,
God.
DK is, if y'all have never watched DK's tape, because, a lot of y'all just saw highlight, go out there and actually watch this man on the field. He is a freak. Watch corners try and press this man off the line. It's one of the funniest things you'll watch. I'm going to go opposite of you guys just because I think Devontae Adams, who is like, it was like Devontae Adams, Julio, D-Hop. Those were like the three. Like Metcalf, yes, he was on ascension. Like he was on his way up, but he's not in that class yet, not even close. So you're talking about two of the three best receivers in the game, and then you put Aaron Rodgers with him. Like Russ is good. He's not Aaron Rodgers. Like
I didn't pick that one because it's too much of a fantasy. That's not happening.
Well,
I'm going to be in Seattle. That much bigger of a fantasy.
Aaron Rodgers already said he's not playing for that.
Yeah, but if you get Julio, he'll stay. Like he'll stay for that.
Here's the one thing that I think. Here's the one reason I don't fear that as much is because Devontae Adams has issues with turf toe all the time. He misses a few games. I've had him for fantasy like 2 of the past 3 years. He's missed like 2 or 3 games a season with turf toe. You got Julio, who's always dinged up. So it's just like, how much will they both be on the field? You have granted, Devontae's not like, it's not like Devontae's missing, 12 games in the season like T.Y. Hilton does, but I think he could easily, if he misses 4 or 5 games and Julio misses 4 or 5 games, I mean, that could truly make the difference in whether you're, I won't say necessarily playoff team or not, but whether you can win that division or, come, wild card or first seed. So
I think Julio is special enough to be, if Aaron Rodgers got him, that's like a golden ticket to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think
they would be
he's
unstoppable.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
Until they played Tampa and
unstoppable.
No, they beat them too, I feel.
Bro, that defense,
that duo?
That defense is what's going to kill them because they can't get to a quarterback.
Remember, the Packers always, they'll have, John Biggington starting at right guard and he turns into like a freaking Pro Bowler. And you're like, what?
Yeah. Like I said, I don't necessarily knock the offense. It's like I said, the defense though, that they have a middle pack below average defense.
But I will say the one thing about Tampa, just to throw out there, I know it's awesome that they're bringing back all 22 starters, but while that's good for them, it could also, potentially be good for other teams because we already know what they're bringing to the table. And just like in any pro sport, you can never do the same thing 2 years in a row. I don't care how good you are.
I think the odds are against them just because of the fact how healthy they were last year.
Yeah.
Right. And that too.
And I think
our line during the Super Bowl year.
I mean, it's and I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but it's kind of like what the Lakers are dealing with now with AD. AD gets hurt and like they look like they're on pace to repeat and AD gets hurt. So I'm not saying that anybody will, but there's a very likely chance that a couple, 1 or 2 key players will probably get hurt at the wrong time, and it could stop the Tampa from potentially repeating.
The head of the snake might be the one who gets hurt.
Well, the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs were cruising, and
Injuries.
AFC Championship game. Both of your tackles are gone. Well, one was already out, and then the other one goes out in the AFC Championship game. So
Right.
yeah, and it completely made the difference. So
All right. So now that we pretty much know Julio's going to be gone, we have to start casting our vision a little bit further down the line and start looking at life after Julio. He's been a staple here for the last decade. We've grown accustomed to him. We've had his jersey. He's going to be the best player that's ever worn a Falcons jersey to this point. So, it sucks, but we got to live with the reality, and we got to start looking at what it's going to look like after him. It happens to every team. So let's look at two things. First, let's talk about what are we most looking forward to. It doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out answer, but in life after Julio, what are you looking forward to the most? And I'm going to go first on this one. And Micah, you'll probably guess what mine is because you've played Madden with me long enough. But I'm looking forward to the next young generation of players on this Falcons team. For a while there, we were one of the oldest teams in the NFL. Now you get to start looking forward to, who's the young guy on the come up that's going to be at receiver? Who, is going to be the young guy on the come up after Matt's gone? That's what I love rebuilding with teams in Madden just because I like, seeing players develop. And I know it's a little different than it in the NFL, and it's a lot harder sometimes, but I've got a little bit more faith in this team over the last 20 years to know that we're not just like one of those teams that can't get it right in the draft. We'll miss every now and then, but for the most part, we draft pretty well, and we can find some studs in there. So that's my thing that I'm really looking forward to. Marco, is there anything like a light at the end of the tunnel that you're looking forward to?
Just having another opportunity at maybe finding a coach that is competent. You know what I mean? Because once we start seeing, I feel like it'll be such a refreshing thing once we see if this, Arthur Smith thing works out the way we hope it will. And we see Dean Pease out here and we're like, wow, all these games that were so close and were always heartbreakers suddenly become easy. Not easy. Nothing's easy in the NFL, but wins where it's okay, we're not going to blow this, You
have
those small
those
things,
games.
Right? The confidence in my team is the thing I'm looking forward to most.
Micah, what you looking forward to, man?
Younghoe Koo coming back off that's Pro Bowl season.
You're gonna be using him a lot. Is that what you're saying?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna be. I don't know. I mean, he was never the touchdown guy anyway. It was Ridley. So.
Well, I mean, but.
And now there's Pitts.
I got into a debate with somebody earlier, and I said, so Matt, this will be Matt's 14th season, and I said outside of the Shanahan year where he won the MVP and the 1 year with Sark, there's consistently been a stigma around we struggle in the red zone with Matt Ryan as quarterback, and unless when we had Turner, because when we had Turner, you knew if you were getting inside the 10, just hand it to Turner, you're getting in. But we've struggled to score touchdowns with Matt Ryan at the helm just because there's certain throws that he can't make that a lot of quarterbacks can. So it limits it. If you can't get it up the middle of the field, then chances are you're going to struggle to score. That's always been the thing around him. Now but so it's that's why I say Younghoe. That's part of our problem last year. We couldn't run it in, and so we kicked a whole lot of field goals. And Younghoe wound up being a Pro Bowler just because of our deficiencies in the red zone. So
that brings up an interesting question though, because it's Matt Ryan. So pretty much what we're talking about here is the difference between Matt Ryan being a consistent 28 to 35 guy as opposed to being 25 and under for most of his season, right? I mean, most of his career, right? Because it's someone scores those touchdowns, right? But at the same time, we watch the games and we know we always usually struggle and settle for field goals. But he usually always has good numbers. So it's an interest. It brings up the question is like, how much of it is on him? And I don't know. But then we watch and we see him miss a lot of stuff. So I don't know.
It's a combination. Now, a large percentage of it could have been attributed to just Cutter's bad. We all know that. But like you said, there were plenty of opportunities where there were plenty of times last year where we had opportunities and he just couldn't quite get it there. Or like that Packers game last year, Ridley gets open in the middle of the field, Matt scrambling to the right and just doesn't have enough arm to get it to him to get the touchdown to him, and it gets bat down by the safety. I mean, that's on Matt. But
so I'll ask it like this. So if you look at Matt's career, he's gone 16, 22, 28, 29, 32, 26, 28, 21, 38, 20, 35, 26, 26. Do you think Matt Ryan can have 2 more 30-plus touchdown seasons in his career?
I do.
Possibly. But it really – I think Pitts up the middle is a big addition because it gives him a huge athletic target up the middle of the field where he's at his best. But I also think Arthur Smith is more heavy into the running game. So he's going to be more creative in trying to get like the running backs the ball and finding other ways to score outside of just getting it. Like he won't have to throw as many touchdowns because I think we're going to be a little more balanced. So, I mean, that could keep him from hitting that 30 plus mark. I mean, he might have a good season, be 27-8. We might have 15, 16 rushing touchdowns this year. Who knows? So,
yeah, I mean, I think it definitely comes. Mike had nailed it. Like, it's easier for defenses to stop you in the red zone when all they have to do is worry about you passing because they know you can't, run it on them. So they just sit back in zone and keep their eyes in the backfield for a second, and then pop up and, play the pass. But I could easily see Matt coming out like the problem is this is his first year in the system, so I'm not looking for too much. But like next year, I could easily see Matt if Arthur Smith is what we think he is, 30, 35, 36, 37 touchdowns, in a well schemed offense. Because if you watch Arthur Smith's tape, he's no dummy out there, man. He knows what he's doing. He will scheme people open. And now, depending if we extend Hurst or not, he has 2 really good receiving tight ends to play with. He's got Ridley to play with. And then, whoever we're looking at on the other side, who could be Russell Gage. So who knows? It could be Darby. So, yeah, I think to answer your question, yes, I think he could easily have 1 to 3 more 30 to 35 touchdown seasons in his career for sure.
So you're saying that he's no Dirk Cutter?
Dirk Cutter wishes he could smell Arthur Smith's farts. Like, good God. Dirk Cutter is one of the worst offensive coordinators I've ever seen. Like,
for Burks.
Right.
The inability to, like, watching a Dirk Cutter game is like watching your younger brother, like, play a game, and you're like, stop turning into the wall. No, the wall's over there. Why do you keep turning right? Why do you keep doing that? And he's like, Dirk Cutter's got the controller doing this number.
Oh, man.
So you're just wrapping yourself in the cord. What are you doing, man?
Oh, man.
Kids these days don't understand the cord problem.
They're in quarter defense. What are we gonna run? 4 verts. We're gonna attack them up the seams. But they're 4 deep. 4 verts is gonna attack them up the seams.
Just imagine how bad that front office in Tampa had to be to hire that man as a head coach.
Bruh. No. Here's the bad thing. You had Lovie Smith as your head coach, who's been to a Super Bowl before.
Right, coming off a 10-6 season, I think.
He was your offensive coordinator. He was going to take a head coaching job elsewhere. So to beat him to it, you decide to fire Lovie Smith and promote him to head coach. Wow. 3 years later, he's gone.
Out the league.
Oh man. You want to know? You want some perspective on this one though? So the reason we hired Dirk Cutter again is because of Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn wanted Dirk Cutter. And the reason he wanted Dirk Cutter was because in those games against Tampa, he carved us up. Like he would just eat that 3 deep zone apart with hooks and curls and up the seam, and he would just pick it apart. And that lets you know how bad of a defensive coordinator Dan Quinn is.
Right. He was impressed.
He was like, whoa, I can't stop this guy.
4 verts. Wow.
Like, this is crazy. Like, I can't. Jameis Winston threw for 450 yards and 4 touchdowns on me. That's Jameis Winston. And it's like.
He can't even see.
So we had both of them on our staff at the same time.
Ineptitude.
And now you see why a lot of people are like, the Falcons sucks. Like, no, our roster was actually really good. Our roster isn't much different than it was in 2016. It's just we had 2 dummies at the wheel going.
Right. And not only they were dummies with confidence because Arthur Blank had given them so much rope to hang themselves with since that 2016 year. He was like, Dan, whatever you want to do, Dan. He's like, okay.
Oh,
and
driving on flat tires.
I want to say this too real quick. And Foye, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just trying to read some things here. Because I've seen just about all your clips when you get up to the podium. And I've seen, the way, my hamstring. No, stop it. I've seen the way you talk about coaches. You never talked about Dan Quinn the way you're talking about Dean Pease right now. There's a little twinkle in your eye, and you're talking a little differently. So I think the players see it too. They're like, oh, wow, this is what this is supposed to be like.
I think they're challenged for the first time in a long time because I remember the first interview I heard from Foye, he was almost like, I could almost hear in his voice he was trying to figure out, like, it was taking some effort to figure out the system and to figure out, he's like, things are different, man. Like that was the main thing he said. He's like, things are really different, so I'm just really trying to, right.
I think they really liked Ulbrich and Raheem Morris.
Mm-hmm.
But then now it's just like, ooh, Dean Pease is on a different level. Wow. So yeah, I just could, yeah. Who wouldn't be excited right now? I mean,
you're literally getting one of the I wouldn't say the best, but like one of the better defensive coordinators that have ever coached in the NFL. He could be, mentioned along with the greats. What is my hamstring doing? I'm dying.
Charlie Horse?
Yeah.
Bruh. You're talking about how Quinn and Cutter were dummies and they were driving around. It reminded me of that story Greg told about B Dragon and Captain. Oh no!
Greg died. That guy's
drove straight into the side of a mountain.
He was the guy that would, that I was standing behind going, "What are you doing?" So let's take a glance, towards the future here. With Julio being gone, we're obviously going to look to fill that role, whether it be via someone on the roster, via the draft, or free agency, especially if we get $38 million back from his contract. Hopefully, you don't spend it all on one guy and wind up in the same damn situation again. But, we're going to have to fill that position. It's in today's NFL, you're pretty much required to have 2 receivers, 2 receiving threats. I'll say, if you want to, sniff the playoffs. That's why teams like the Ravens are like, man, we really need someone else. Because run game can only get us so far. So I'll cover, we'll do this backwards in the way I have it on the no, let's do the local guys first. Let's do the guys that we already have on the roster, and let's go through what we think our depth chart is going to be at wide receiver this year, and then we can talk about guys that are on the roster that could be potential fits to fill that role. So, Micah, I want to hear your projected depth chart of the Falcons here in this upcoming season. Who do you think is going to start across from Ridley? You know, what are we looking at here?
So I think Ridley, of course, is going to be the number one. I think the two, it's hard to say. It depends on how well he knows Tajay Sharp. So Tajay Sharp already knows his offensive scheme. So he's going to get some reps in at the number two. I think Gage will play some slot. Gage will play some number two. And as well as Pitts. I think Pitts will play some slot and some tight end, and Hurst will probably be the predominant tight end, and Pitts will be he'll play some tight end, but he'll also play a lot in the slot. So other than that, I don't know about Christian Blake or OZ, how much they'll get used. I'm sure Arthur Smith will utilize them, but I don't know how much. So,
yeah, I could see that. Marco, what are you thinking about? What's the depth chart looking like for you?
I'm just looking at the projected one, and so they still got Julio Jones on there. So I think basically Calvin will move into his spot. Russell Gage will move into the second spot, and then I guess we're gonna have to find a way to mix Kyle Pitts and Hurst into that. We're gonna have to extend them from just being tight ends and get creative there, especially with Pitts. I could see them doing that, getting real creative with Pitts and finding ways to work him in more consistently in that slot, perhaps.
Yeah.
They also got Tuoti Mariner as the projected starter.
Across from Fowler?
Left LDE.
So defensive end.
I thought you were talking about it receiver. Like, wait, what?
We know he's versatile, but damn.
Damn, wow. He's switching up like that. They got Taquan or TQ on third on the depth chart right here. I think he'll probably do better than that.
Where are you looking at this? What page? Falcons projected.
I just Googled it. It's Our Lads. I've never heard of this site.
You never been to Our Lads?
Nope.
Yeah, here we go. That's how you know he's not as big of a roster junkie as us, Micah.
Yeah.
Sure not. But other than that, they got Isaiah Oliver still starting. Wow.
Oliver will probably – I have faith that Oliver will be a lot better than what we've seen.
Okay. And other than that, it's everything we pretty much expect. Like I said, I think Graham will probably move his way up. And what's our guy, the other draft pick? I think both of those guys will probably compete for snaps. They got Ogundeji fourth on the depth chart right now. But
Marco gave us a whole damn roster projection.
Yeah, he went through the whole –
Give us your wide receivers. Like, I'm going to give you everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you were talking a little bit about defense, too. I didn't hear the question. I heard Mike talking about it.
I can tell you didn't hear it. I said, what's your projected wide receiver depth chart?
Oh. Well, there you go.
He's like, I gave you everyone. I'm going to say coming out the gates, we're probably going to run a lot of 12 personnel early on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be looking at Ridley. Russell Westbrook almost got me here. I was almost the third one to trip up. Get Ridley on the right, Russell Gage on the left. Because Ridley, from what we've seen, Ridley typically likes to run on that right side of the field, but he'll probably see expansion now that Julio's gone. But I'd say Gage is your number two, and then Hurst and our boy Pitts going to be out there. So, it's probably not going to be what we're used to, but like you mentioned, Micah, you'll probably see Pitts split out as that third guy. So we're going to just be running just really big 3 wide receiver sets essentially.
Yeah, I think he's going to use him kind of like Jonnu, because he was real creative in how he used Jonnu. Throw some screens and stuff to him and get him in open space.
Yeah, I mean, and with guys like this, I don't want to say there's not going to be a drop off without Julio, because there's obviously going to be one. Like, no matter how good Pitts is his first season, you're not going to match the connection that Matt and Julio had. The veteran presence that Julio brings, the elite route running, there was a reason Julio was the best receiver in the game when you asked any NFL player, who the best wide receiver was. Julio was either their number 1 or number 2 every time. So, it'll help those type of formations. We're going to get real creative with it, but, I don't think we're going to, have a whole bunch of barn burners very early on. It'll take some adjusting to get used to, but I think we could still be very good, because Gage had proved last year when he stepped in for Julio and he put up almost 800 yards. Obviously, Ridley's proven that he's ready to be a number 1. He's an elite route runner. He's got take the top off the defense speed still, and he's just going to get better. And he's motivated this year, so.
If I see him go backwards one time, I'll be so mad. I'll be like, God damn.
Ridley, catch the ball and move forward. Stop looking for how to dip back under the defense and get 20 more yards.
I got the remedy for that. All right, Hayden, anytime you see Ridley start to run backwards, just pick him up and start running him forward. Just grab him and start going forward with it.
Just have him shadow him all the time.
Honestly. Right. But yeah, I think we could get by with what we got here, unless for some reason some veteran guy gets cut or something weird happens. Maybe some other quarterback comes out of retirement and decides he wants to play wide receiver. Since that tends to be the trend here. But as far as, and I'll just skim over this and we'll actually cover these guys more in the future in depth, because this is going to become a thing next year, and I don't want to bore you too much. But as far as free agents go, this upcoming year, you've got Chris Godwin, who's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's going to be a really big free agent piece, probably the most sought after wide receiver, just because of his youth. And then there's Devontae Adams, who's going to be a little bit older. Especially if they lose Aaron Rodgers, you can fully expect them to lose Devontae Adams in the same season. And then Allen Robinson, who's up and down. He can be really, really good, and then he can also disappear at times. So those are your 3 biggest free agent wide receivers out there that we could possibly look at. And then draft possibilities coming up this year. I'll name you a couple, and we'll give you a draft profile on them a little bit later. But you got Justin Ross out of Clemson, who's 6'4", 205. He's an elite receiver for Clemson, but at the end of this last season, he had to opt out because he required neck surgery. So that could, he may never play again. It just really depends on what his recovery is like, and plus the thing that he had, most athletes don't come back from. It's just too dangerous to come back from. Then you got George Pickens, your UGA wide receiver here, who could easily be the number 1 receiver off the boards in this draft. So we may not, hopefully we're not in position to get him. But if we are, he could be a potential prospect, because I'm sure most of you listening know, and Micah could tell you he's elite. He's going to be something special.
Immature, but
a little immature, yeah.
Damn good receiver.
You got to bark every time we talk about Georgia football. We haven't talked about that in a long time.
Yeah, it's like Georgia football doesn't exist on this show. I don't know what happened. We just shunned them. Then you get John Mechie out of Alabama. Mm-hmm. He was their guy that stepped up when Waddle went down, became an elite number 2. He's going to be their number 1 this year, so you can fully expect him to go over 1,000 yards, get a lot of touchdowns, barring injury or major setback. To jump up the draft boards. Most people couldn't tell you that Waddle and Devontae Smith were going to be that good, but playing Alabama, you're going to put up stats. Then there's Chris. I always
Olave.
I can't. Is it Olave? Because I've heard it Olave, Olive. It's like I don't know how to pronounce it now.
I've heard it Olave, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Chris Olave, we'll call him, out of Ohio State, going to be their number one threat this year. They've also got another guy up there. I forget his name. They could have 2 number one or first round draft picks coming out of Ohio State this year. And then my dark horse, he actually just transferred from Ohio State and is going to go to Alabama. Jamison Williams, he was a former 5-star prospect, I believe. Went up there, didn't get the playing time that he wants. Saw the opening down here at Alabama because they did recruit him, and he's going to go down there, and he is a burner. He is an absolute burner with really good hands. So keep those names in the back of y'all's minds. Like I said, we won't go in depth about them right now. This is something that we'll discuss, in the future. But these are the guys that I think that we could possibly either sign or draft to fill those shoes. So get ready, guys. Because post Julio is coming. There's no way around it. Number 11 is going to play somewhere else. All right. That being said, I want to do this really quick because I've been watching some of the camp stuff that I mentioned before. Last year, I think y'all remember, or at the beginning of this podcast, I had mentioned that I saw Foye on tape, and I was like, man, he's about to have a breakout season. We covered those things. So I was watching the tape, and I think there's a couple guys that are really poised to do great things for us this year. And that's AJ Terrell. I think he's going to step up to be one of the – man, I'm talking about like huge jump. He's going to be like a lockdown guy out there for us this year. He is getting it. He's in a more aggressive defense that fits his abilities a whole lot better. We're going to be able to generate a little pressure in front of him with the scheme. And, he's got another year under his belt. So look out for AJ. I think Fowler's going to have a bounce back year, especially now that we've moved him back to linebacker, got him more in that stand-up position. And we'll probably see him move across the range of linebackers. So you might see him from the inside a couple times. You might see him on both sides, not just off that right end and just hand in the dirt trying to speed rush past somebody. And then Richie Grant, his tape out there and what he's been talking about, I think he fits perfectly. And I think Deron Harmon's really going to help him learn this system really well. So those are my guys to look out for. And, as camp goes on, we'll cover a little bit more. Do y'all have anybody that – I don't know if y'all much tape y'all been watching on the Falcons so far?
I haven't had my eye on it.
I mean, I actually agree with those because, like I said, according to like Dean P's scheme, I believe he's going to coach AJ up to be more physical, more aggressive. Like I said, that Dean P's they are very aggressive in the secondary because their goal is they want to take away any quick, easy routes. Because if they can make you if they can make your quarterback hold on to the ball, even a second or two longer, it buys your pass rush time to get home. And then once your pass rush gets home, and like once that quarterback's clock starts to go off, like, oh crap, the pass rush is coming, they're more likely to make mistakes. Fowler, like I said, I just think he knows how to utilize. He's more equipped to utilize Fowler, unlike Dan Quinn and Ulbrich and whatnot. So I think Fowler will see numbers close to what he had in when he was on the Rams. And Richie Grant, yeah, like he's a ball hawk. Kid's a ball hawk. So if Pease does, and if he catches on to his scheme, if he picks up Dean Pease's scheme, the aggressiveness and the quarterbacks will make mistakes should also help him be able to be in position to make plays. So,
yeah, he's probably the guy that I'm most excited for in this defense, man. To have a guy back there that can really turn the ball over a lot and can tackle. It's like if you put the two attributes of our last two safeties into one, you got that now. All right, so let's move into the Hall of Fame portion of this segment before we get out of here. Let's talk about Tim Teebow. and how he is the next great thing at tight end. This man is out here looking yoked. This man's out here running 5-yard outs looking like the best tight end ever. And you know what? He hasn't dropped a pass in OTAs yet. And he caught 2 touchdowns. Who knows who was guarding him? Don't matter, though. It's Tim Tebow.
In shorts.
You can't guard Tim Tebow at tight end. Don't you know what he did at Florida at tight end? Oh, wait. I am so tired of this Tim Tebow coverage. Like, I get it. Yeah. It's a big thing. He's a big name, but like, the man's never played a down at tight end a day in his life, and you expect him to come off the streets after playing baseball for the last couple of years and play tight end at the highest level.
Man, I'll give it to Urban Meyer, man. He looks out for his guys.
Boy.
Bruh. He took somebody's roster spot. And let's just think about that division alone. Titans have good linebackers. Houston, all right, he might be able to eat against Houston because Houston don't have nothing.
Linebackers. That's one of the few things they do have.
But imagine him trying to go 1-on-1 against Darius Leonard for Indianapolis, bruh. I absolutely dare Trevor Lawrence to throw it to Teebow. That ball is getting picked and housed.
Honestly.
So go ahead. Try Darius Leonard with Tim Tebow. Oh yeah, he's about to run his 5-yard out, bruh. It's going to the house.
What is Tebow's 40 time anyway?
It was like a 4.6 or 4.7, wasn't it?
Nah,
so like
I want to say he was like 4.7-ish back when he came out of college. So
4.71. So he's running like a 4.8 now.
Yeah.
High 4.8s.
Because especially since he put on all this weight to play tight end. Like
his only chance is to do like Tony Gonzalez and just box everybody out every play. Shoulders.
Do you think that bulk is a little bit of his residual steroid use from baseball?
Pew 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 pew.
Oh man.
So as most athletes, and actually what Pat McAfee was talking about, and he actually said it live on air the other day as he was watching Teebow. He's like, most former athletes are going to be like, damn, Tim Tebow's getting a shot to play tight end, and that's how he looks. After that tape came out, they were like, you know what? Maybe I do have a little something in the tank here. Maybe I can get out there and play a couple more years if I change my position to something where I don't have to be as fast. He's like, Tim Tebow's not as athletic as me. I can out athlete Tim Tebow right now. And this is a punter. This is a former punter. Granted, he's a very athletic punter and he played a lot of sports, but most NFL players did. So when that happened, when that tape came out, Brandon Jacobs, the former Giants / 49ers giant running back, said, since Tim Tebow's doing this, guys, you know what? I'm very serious about this, and I'm going to make an attempt to come back and play defensive end in the NFL. He's like,
he hasn't played since 2012.
Right. I mean, he's still yoked. That dude is big. Like, I think he's just naturally that big.
But I mean, like, folks talk about how big Derrick Henry was. Brandon Jacobs was 6'4", 260, and ran a 4.5 in the league, and this was like 10 years ago.
He was dangerous,
man. So, and he had a muscle head. So like, bro, like his head was on steroids. I'm telling you, man. That could be something special. Or put him in D tackle. He'd just be a fast D tackle.
Yeah, I mean, hell, he's got some long ass arms too, if I remember right. So it's 4th and goal. And you're going to run power O. You're going to run off the right tackle behind your tight end with a little fullback in there. Tim Tebow's your starting tight end. Brandon Jacobs is your starting defensive end. Who's winning that battle? Are we scoring a touchdown or are we getting tackled on the 4?
Bruh. Brandon Jacobs dominates Tim Tebow and probably it like runs over, destroys the back running back in the backfield.
I say through sheer will and determination, Tim Tebow catches the ball at the 4. He fights and he struggles all the way to the 1, where Brandon Jacobs rips the ball out of his hand.
Give me that. What's wrong with you? Go back to baseball. Oh my God. Real quick before we get out of here to the break, do you think this will actually lead to a trend? If I said this all to black, that will lead to a trend to where you'll see more athletes willing to change their positions later in their career and extend their career, or like possibly, people coming back and doing it? Do you think that leads to that and teams are going to be more willing? Or is this just going to prove that, you can't, no. The NFL is a league of specialists, and
like no, because you're always going to be able to find a younger guy who can do it better than an older guy who never did it.
Yeah. And for a lot cheaper.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's
maybe not cheaper though. You can give that better.
You can draft a guy out of a school like Nevada in like the 6th round that can probably compete with Teebow and be a whole lot younger and a whole lot more athletic.
For I'm just saying. That's true.
This is just a perfect example of it's not what you know, it's who you know. Yeah. You don't necessarily have to be phenomenal, but if you make the right impression on the right person, then hell, you could be set for life essentially. That's with Tim Tebow.
Do you think they're going to run the wild Tebow?
Drop him back to quarterback, and he's going to throw a pass to Trevor Lawrence. Oh God,
they're going to do it.
He might throw a pass to Trevor Lawrence, and it's too much of a duck for Trevor Lawrence to catch it.
Trevor Lawrence
tears his ACL.
Yeah, separates his shoulder
for the rest of the season.
Wait, Tim, did you just throw me a punt? Did you punt this ball to me?
Urban, you dirty dog. This was your plan the whole time.
Teebow comes in, starts for the rest of the season, runs for 600 yards in 12 games and passes for 7, and they somehow win a playoff game.
Look, he throws the ball 10 times a game or less.
Because Percy Harvin comes in and starts at free safety for him. People are like, well, he's never played safety. He's like, yeah, but he's a good guy, and he's a Florida Gator.
Oh, man.
God. Fred Taylor comes out of retirement at the age of 50.
Brings Al Horford in.
Oh, man.
Joakim Noah, your starting punter. Like, what? The Jaguars fans are like, what is this? How are we winning? Oh, God. I think that's a good place to get out on the first half and take a quick break and then come back and talk about what we're all I think, the most excited to talk about. And that's squash.
Braves baseball.
All right, y'all. We'll be back in a little bit. Make sure to stay tuned and catch some basketball and some baseball. Peace. Audio back. All right, guys, welcome back from the break. I wanted to bring us back onto this because Micah and Marco were, of course, we're always having a very interesting conversation, but it pertained to basketball. So, yeah, welcome back. Let's get into some basketball there, Marco.
Hey there. Are you ready for the layup, a.k.a. the finger roll, a.k.a. belly time, a.k.a. points in the paint? Yeah, it sounds like a buzzer beater to me. But basketballs. Well, just so to wrap up what we were talking about, a guest of the show, Foye, had indicated that Rajon Rondo is his favorite athlete of all time. And, you know, it's a little bit of a head scratcher, but me and Ryan were just saying that there were 2 years where Rondo was one of the probably the best point guard in basketball and one of the best players in the league too. So it might have lined up with that.
All I'm saying is if he's a Kentucky fan and that Tubby Smith era, the best Kentucky player out of that Tubby Smith era, in my opinion, was Tayshaun Prince.
Maybe Foye just liked him a lot when he saw him on the Kings. It's like this or the Pelicans team.
The Pelicans Kings was a little more entertaining.
Because he did single-handedly. It was him and Drew. They like took Dame and CJ's souls. So I mean, he has a lot of highlights. I mean, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But yeah, greatest athlete.
First?
I think so.
I just think of it. Champ. I think of it like it to me. It'd be like Algie Crumpler's my favorite athlete of all time. Like, wait, what? of all the players you could have chose, Algie Crumpler.
He's a 4-time All-Star, 3-time assist champ, 2-time NBA champion, 1-time steals champ. He made 1 All-NBA team, 4-time All-Defensive team, and then the Rookie of the Year. I mean, yeah, he's first ballot.
Yeah, when you actually lay them all out.
It's like he's a first ballot like Dwight is. Like people might be like, Dwight Howard first ballot, but then Dwight, you look at all the accomplishments, you're like, oh my God, that guy was a beast.
Didn't do a whole lot of winning outside of Orlando.
Yeah, I mean, I think once he went to the Lakers and tried to come back early from injury, his career was pretty much done as a primary contributor.
Kobe bullied him into coming back.
I don't think Kobe bullied. I think he was pressured. I think it was like a pressure on himself. I don't think Kobe necessarily.
Kobe was a dog, though. Kobe's like, man, a real man would play through those injuries.
Right, he probably called him all kinds of B's and F's and MFers. I'm sure he did. Like everybody's seen that video where Jeremy Lin was in practice.
Oh my God.
The way Kobe was talking to Jeremy Lin, I'm like, what a fucking asshole. Like, look at this guy. It's like Jordan, yeah, I know he trash talked, but there was like a little too much venom in Kobe Bryant.
Kobe, like, you know, like you got to think of these are guys that are like at the elite level. They're trying winning is all that matters at that point. And like, you know, as a high school athlete, you'd be like, whoa, man, chill out. Like as a college athlete, but like when you get to the NBA and your reputation is built on winning, like that's why you get that from those type of players.
Yeah.
But I feel like Kobe just had like this, and I think that for good reason he called himself the Mamba, because he just had like this prickly way about him that it's almost like it probably would have helped his career better if he were a little bit more diplomatic in the way that he got his teammates to try to rise to his level. I feel like he probably did his teammates more harm than he did good. Whereas Jordan's level of like competitiveness rose Scottie Pippen. It made Dennis Rodman want to reel in his, you know, his craziness and contribute. It almost like rose his to his level. Whereas Kobe, I feel almost like broke people. Like,
I am terrible, aren't I?
We're like, oh shit, I am Smush Parker.
Hey, do not talk. According to Smush Parker, him and Kobe, if he had stayed in LA, him and Kobe would have been one of the greatest duos, backcourt duos of all time. I'm just saying.
It's like when Ricky Davis
okay,
was like, I thought they brought LeBron James in here to help me score. All-time greats. But yeah, so this week, and pretty much since the playoffs have started and we started to see these fans come back in the crowd, which has been amazing, especially that New York. I know as much as I hate New York and all their shenanigans, seeing that live crowd there and hearing that was so refreshing because we have not heard that in such a long time, and it was amazing. But there's been some issues, and I don't know if we'll get a little bit into what you want to blame it on, but I've heard a lot of people trying to blame it on COVID, and I don't know about all that. I think, hate is just different now because of social media. Hate synthesizes its way a lot differently than it used to. But so there's been a lot of fan issues going on. I'd say the worst one by far was Trey getting spat on by the dude sitting behind 50 Cent. Then Russell Westbrook got injured. He was walking to the back, got some popcorn dumped on him. Kyrie, after going and stomping on the Boston logo, which I don't really get why he did that. He gets a bottle, I think a Dasani bottle thrown at. I think Dasani was trending yesterday for being trash.
I would be offended if someone hit me with Dasani too. Any other water would be good, but like Dasani's like, come on.
Hey, bro. It could have been worse. Could have hit him with a twisted T. Bah! Oh!
Right, well, he didn't hit him. It just landed in front of him. And was there one more incident, or has it just been those three?
Mike Conley in Utah.
What happened there?
No, not Mike Conley.
A fan tried to run on the court in D.C. last night.
Was it Conley? Sacked. Yeah, that was a hell of a tackle. So there was racial comments again in Utah.
Oh, there was racial comments. Okay,
yeah, he's not the first.
That goes on without acknowledgement because that's the norm. that's just what happens in Utah. But yeah, so the fan tried to run on the court in D.C. and they touched the backboard and they got tackled. So what is going on with this fan situation, guys? Like, what is up with this? How do you diagnose this perceived issue? Is it really an issue or is it just magnified? I'm curious to hear what y'all think about all this.
You want to go first?
I don't really have my thoughts together on this one yet because I'm not even sure. So you can.
I'll go. No, it's not COVID. This has always happened. I think for the first time, players are just vocal about it. Like I remember, like Boston has always had an issue with race and race relations. They talked about it in that 30 for 30 when they did Lakers versus Celtics. Even not even just basketball. It's a baseball player, Torrey Hunter. They talked about him potentially waiving his no trade clause and going to Boston, and he was like, I will never play in Boston.
Bill Russell as well.
Oh yeah, he said, like Torrey Hunter said, he said, I've been, and I quote, I've been called the N-word in Boston 100 times. Said, and I said something about it. No, he's just militant. He's lying. This didn't happen. It's like, so that's what it is. Boston has always been known to be very to be a fairly racist city when it comes to opposing players and whatnot. And honestly, even some of their own players,
to hone in on the conversation. So we can get into maybe we can take a B side to this discussion and get into like maybe what Kyrie said in the racial aspect. But just in terms of like, you can weave them together if you want. Do you think, like, for instance, Trey getting spat on, is there a racial component there? Or
I don't necessarily think it's racial as far as that. I just think that's just the New York rudeness. But it's
in DC or it was in Philly?
What's it called? Yeah, Philly
and Boston.
Philly's rude. Like you said, they threw batteries at Santa Claus. Boston, like I said, they're notorious for this. New York fans are notoriously rude. And Utah, Russell Westbrook had an incident with the fan in Utah a few years back. So these aren't isolated incidents. This stuff has happened, and And I'll quote comedian Bill Burr. You know, he talked about how much he loved the Malice at the Palace because he said, how many times have you seen fans just say whatever the hell they wanted to? Because it's like, oh, come on up here. Come on up here. Because they like there's no consequence for them coming up there and say, well, they came up there and they kicked everyone's ass. It was great. But yeah, I mean, it's because fans feel like they can say whatever they want and do whatever they want to get the players out of their game, and they feel like there shouldn't be consequences. So I'm just trying to get them out of their game. But at a certain point, you got to realize there's lines that were crossed. If that same athlete came to your job and called you outside your name, would you just sit there and take it too? Like you know,
probably would. There's some big guys.
Nah, I'm just saying.
Dwight Howard comes in and starts making fun of you. Like, yep.
I'm going to the bathroom.
like if some of these fans, you know, they're doing their job. You know, they're janitors. They're cleaning the toilets and whatnot. It's like, hey, you a bitch. Look at your bitch ass cleaning up that toilet. Would you just be like, no? Would you ignore it, or would you at least respond in some way? Be like, leave me alone. Yeah, I mean, bro, it's like there are lines that you don't you. Like I said, I understand trash talking to an extent, but some of these fans go way too far. And to expect it's part of your job. You're just supposed to take it. Like, bro, there's only so much I can take as a man that you can say to me and me not react to what you're saying.
So just Ryan, are you
yeah,
you ready?
I was
ask the next question.
Yeah, I think I have an answer, but
okay.
Mike is right. It's always been this way, but you know, I got an idea. Because there's that, you know, fans obviously know there's not that separation between athletes and players like it used to be, because you can contact them on social media, you control them that way. They're even responding in comments now, and you know that's not unheard of. Gilbert Arenas is in like every sports post out there and arguing with people, calling them dumb,
right.
like making fun of them for not being millionaires. It's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, I mean, KD. You're lit. Yeah, like Kate. Well, KD.
I guess it's better than him bringing a gun, right?
Oh
God. Yeah. Oh God.
Could have been such a good point guard, but whatever. Anyway. So I think, you know, fans know that, and they're a little more comfortable with talking trash to these athletes. But Mike Tyson said it best. He's like, you know, social media has made a lot of you forget what it's like to get punched in the mouth, because they're so used to getting out there and bumping their gums and, you know, saying what they want and not having any consequences. So, you know, they're going to get it. And I've got a solution. So, and I think this would be such a great thing to do, because, you know, you have these Jake Paul and Logan Paul, like, fighting people and calling them out, like, really just, you know, they're YouTubers, but they're still technically an average Joe. Like, they're not elite athletes. And they're doing these boxing matches for, you know, charity or whatnot. NBA players in the offseason.
For their charity, you mean their bank account?
Right, yeah, they're charities. NBA players in the offseason should start doing this. Like, when people, you know, do these things, they spit on them or they do whatever. Because a lot of people forget, like, even though they're like NBA players, they're not as, you know, big as NFL players. These are still elite athletes with quick hands. They got, like, if LeBron hits you, like,
just don't get
even if KD hit you, man, like, that shit would
just don't let me.
Bro, imagine trying to run from KD and his ever-extending arm.
Bro, so, like, they should start calling these people out in the summer. Be like, I'm going to do a celebrity boxing match against, and they drop it, and it's like the guy that spit on Trae Young. That guy's gonna be like, what? Hold on, what, me? He's like, no, I'm not fighting Trae Young. Like, Trae Young's small, but I mean, like, you know, the people like Westbrook. Imagine Westbrook calling you out. You'd be like,
oh my God, yeah, you don't want to fight Brody. You don't want to fight Brody. I know, but it was funny. They said that when the dude threw the bottle in Boston. I guess the guys on TNT were talking about it, and I guess it went off the air. But Kenny, they were like, he was like, oh yeah. Someone was like, oh, he should come down here, and they should send him to the locker room and let Kyrie, you know, fight him. And Kenny was like, oh shit, he might beat Kyrie's ass. Like,
Bruh. Nah, like I'll never forget the Malice at the Palace though. And like I said, it Ron Artest didn't want no part of Ben Wallace, but those fans,
Who would?
oh boy, when they went up in those, like it was like Bill Burr said, they were beating up whole rows of people at the same time. So it's like, bro, I'm as an out of shape guy, I would not pick a fight with Aaron Donald and be like, oh, I'm gonna take. No. So what? Like an elite athlete, why? Why would I like a person who lifts weights and works out for a living? Why would I challenge a person like that?
But that's the point. I don't think they look at it as personally challenging. I feel like when the fans are there, like for instance, I think that the New York crowd specifically, it was such a toxic environment. And I'm of the opinion that toxicity even made the Knicks play worse, because you could almost tell in the first quarter when they were playing. So it was almost like they were trying to live up to that anger, but they're just not. Julius Randle's not mad like that. Let's be real. He's not. He don't got that New York spirit. But my thing is that I think when the crowd has that energy, they're almost emboldened as if they're a part of an entity to spit on somebody or to throw this bottle. They don't look at it like, oh, it's me versus him. They look at it as it's us. You know what I mean? Which is a problem, right? Go ahead.
I would say, and I'm not afraid to say this, I don't think that fan would have spit on him if it was like Gallinari or Bogdan.
Bruh, Clint Capella.
No, I think they would have spit on Clint Capella.
For real?
I think they would have spit on it.
You think it's a race thing?
I don't think
I was almost thinking that too.
I don't think that it's like that man would ever maybe say the N-word out of his mouth, but I guarantee you he did it. Like it was a lot easier for him to do because he was black.
Right. And it's almost like, I want to throw this in there because yeah, you're right. Because the dude almost looked a little Italian, who did spit. But it's almost like I feel like the racial component in Trae Young's situation almost got lost, because I don't necessarily think the media wants to look at Trae Young as a black guy, or it's almost like they don't necessarily. I don't know. I almost feel like it's a different energy around. But I thought that too, Ryan. Like when I looked at it, I was like, wait, is there something right? You just spit on this man. This should be like, this is like, you literally just spit on another man. Like, and I know Trae Young, didn't want to press charges because who would want to deal with this during the playoffs and everything? But so Ryan, your solution was they should duke it out. What do you think, Mike, that they should do to sort of curtail this fan? This preposterous emboldenment of these fans.
What that sounds great, but I think arenas are like, I would love to see it, but I mean realistically, you might pick like Brody might beat somebody to death in the ring if you tried to put him in there. This is for calling me such and such and such.
He'd start stat padding on his hits. He'd be like, gotta get my triple double.
So
he's like, no, I'm dying. He's like, but I'm one hit away.
10 left hooks. I need at least 3 uppercuts.
So yeah, I feel like it, but it comes down to the arena, man. Like I said, which arena was it? Philly? Boston. Boston arrested the guy. Boston did what they were supposed to, but at the same time, like I said, Boston's it's so steeped into Boston's culture and fan base culture that you wouldn't have any fans if you did. If you really cracked down on fans and all that stuff, you probably wouldn't have any fans left. All of them be in jail.
I don't know about that,
bro.
People can be civil. People can talk. I mean, it's like you were saying. Of course, you got to draw the line at racial talk, right? Those people should be arrested too. But people. I'm not going to say that people should be discouraged from, like cursing at a play or blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, that's a part of sports. Like,
yeah, like shit talking, that's fine.
Yeah, like
this is, but when Bill Russell, who played in the 50s and 60s, said that this was a problem back then, and it's still a problem now, bruh, this is steeped in their culture.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are any more Red Sox fans and Patriots fans, Celtics fans. These are probably some of the most obnoxious fans. Like it's just Boston in general. That's what it is. It's a very, very racially charged city. I mean, I could get into even some of the celebrities, like Mark Wahlberg. I mean, some of his trial, like some of the things he's been arrested for committing hate crimes. So, I don't want to, just throw the man on the bus like that. But I'm just saying, it's
dumb. Let's roll right over that, man. I
I
apologize for beating that Asian man.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's a thing. It's a big thing up there. So, I mean, like I said, if they crack down on it, hell, you might not have any fans at the game. Just ban everybody. Everybody's banned.
I don't think it's that serious. What I think that they could do is that if you get like all those people shouldn't just be banned from that particular arena. They should be banned from every sporting arena that is associated with pro sports. Like your money should no longer, like entertainment as well. Like if you are an entertainment event and you get caught doing something where you're endangering the performers, you should be banned from entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that sounds harsh, but hey, like don't come out here spitting on people, throwing shit, dumping your popcorn. You can say whatever you want to say, but if we catch you saying racist stuff, that would apply to you as well. But you know what I mean? But that goes on. That's going to have to go on the people next to you to make sure that someone knows that the people next to them are saying racist stuff. But at the end of the day, I think these fans would consider being more orderly. I mean, we're in the surveillance society anyway. So people should already, I don't understand how you're afraid to text certain things, but then you're going to go on national TV and throw a bottle and not think you're going to face repercussions. You know what I mean?
And be like, oh, you spit on Trey. All right, so we'll give Trey a chance to get one free lick on you, and there's nothing you can do.
It might hurt his hand though. I don't want Trey to hit Trey.
Or no, be like, all right, Trey,
Solomon,
Trey did Solo, Chris Dunn.
Right, Chris Dunn. The least valuable hands on the team. Come here.
Each team starts carrying an enforcer like in hockey.
Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley, Kendrick Perkins.
Like Trey, who do you most likely want to just get your one shot in on this guy? Bruno Fernando. Let's go.
Bruno. Full speed. Hit him with that full speed Jermaine O'Neal punch.
Man, I'm telling you, that's what I was going to say earlier. Like, that man is so lucky that Jermaine O'Neal slipped on that beer. He would have killed that man. He would have killed that man. But what you were saying, Marco, is actually what Hugh Douglas was saying in the morning. It was similar. He wasn't saying like all entertainment. He was saying all sports in that city should get together and ban you, or all the organizations put you on a list.
You are excommunicated, sir.
Yeah, I don't see why not take it to the next level and say the whole leagues should come together and ban these fools. Like, and then freaking Live Nation and everybody, like, you come in here acting like a dickhead. But at the same time, I think there's a money component there where a lot of these people who are like that guy, for instance, I don't know what kind of money he had, was sitting there close enough to spit on Trey, but he probably has a good amount of money, or whoever he knows, you know what I mean? It's probably a loyal customer. So I know there's politics involved, but yeah, man, these fans should definitely have to face serious repercussions for crossing that line. Moving on, just a quick, message for everyone. We don't got to really talk about this, but so Brian Grant, former NBA player, he has recently released a book called Rebound, in which he discusses his NBA career, the struggles through it. And then this was a shocker to me, but he has Parkinson's. So he talks about his struggles with Parkinson's. And I think Brian Grant, if y'all remember, he was a forward, I want to say, who played in the league. Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah, so if y'all want to hear about his story, go ahead and Amazon that and look for that book. So moving on, playoffs. We're in the playoffs, guys. To me, the most exciting playoff. I love me some NBA playoffs. Like even like that Washington game yesterday, when Washington has no chance in this series, but somehow they muster up enough to, you know what I mean? But we'll talk about that. The first one I want to sort of talk about is the Lakers Phoenix series, which Phoenix has brought back to 2-2 after Chris Paul was hurt for the first 3 games, and then the fourth one he was magically okay again. he was fine. He told his teammates, if I'm out here and I'm trash, y'all tell me and I'll go back to the locker room. And he came out and played a good game. So, but unfortunately in this last game, despite crazy highlight dunks with LeBron turning back did y'all see that where Caruso hit him with the off the backboard and he dunked all over Mikal Bridges, but then on the next play, what's his face? Kuzma tried to throw him an off the back one and it completely like hit the rim. And LeBron was like,
oh,
he did the J.R. Smith pose.
Oh, man.
That was too funny. But yeah, so anyway, AD got hurt. He was having one of those AD games where he, you know, one of those kind of games that cost him NBA Finals MVPs, where he's just shooting too many threes, pulling up. He was having a Julius Randle game. I think we can call it that now. Like, and then he tried to do something, you know, athletic, and then he went to the rim without rhythm, you know, pulled his groin. And Phoenix won that game. So I want to ask y'all, are y'all sort of worried about this AD injury? I know every time this dude falls down, he misses a handful of games. Every time he touches the deck, it's a threat that he might not play again. But I told you, I just saw him doing some sideline stretching. He looked to be moving okay. So are y'all worried about the Lakers in this series? And has this changed your opinion on how the outcome of this series might happen?
I'll give you the short answer. Yeah, I mean, I think the Suns have shown you that even when the Lakers are healthy, they can give them problems. So if AD's out, man, or not 100%, the Lakers are going to be on, you know, even though they're the lower seed, on upset watch.
Yeah. I agree. Without a healthy AD, they might very well be in trouble. And as the series goes on, Chris Paul keeps getting healthier and healthier. And I mean, even though I don't think Chris Paul is the guy that's going to like necessarily be like, oh, I'm putting up 40 a game and carrying them, you know, the 2 games that he didn't play many minutes, there's a reason they lost those games. I mean, he's the experience. He can control the tempo of the game. And so if the healthier he gets, and if AD isn't healthy, the Lakers might very well be in trouble.
So I think one thing that might help the Lakers here is the fact that they played a lot of the season without AD. So and coincidentally, I'm not so coincidentally, I mean, this is by design, but the position which AD plays is the one where they probably have the most depth at, where, like, you know, they can bring in, I mean, Drummond was already used to be a 20 and 15 guy. Montrez, who's been buried on the bench, maybe they can insert him there and get some useful minutes for him. They've actually started playing Saul again. You know, and obviously he's over the hill, but he contributes, you know, he tries to contribute. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think that they're in the kind of trouble where they can't win. Because at first with Chris Paul hurt, it was looking like it was about to be a 5-game series real quick. But I feel like, you know, they're still a threat for 7. And I think they could still very much win this series, even if AD doesn't come back. But it'll be very tough.
Solid points. I'll give you that.
My only thing is, even though they have a lot of depth at that position, they still have a problem with Ayton. Ayton's youth and athleticism versus their age and just bulk, because he's running the floor on those guys. They can push the tempo and not have to worry about him. Like, he's doing rim runs almost every time.
He's kept Drummond off the court at times.
Oh yeah.
Drummond can't defend nobody. It seems.
And the fact, like, and that's another reason why, like, Chris Paul is big, because Chris Paul will push the tempo. He'll see, oh, you know, Drummond can't run with him. Let's push it up court. And like I said, Ayton goes right down, does a rim run. Chris Paul sees it, gets it to him. He's getting so many opportunities right under, like deep into the paint. And so it's one of those things. He's keeping like Drummond and when Gasol is your better option at defending him, that's not a good look. I'm sorry.
Park Gasol in the paint is what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean that's about the only way they've been able to really slow down Ayton at all. And can you do that and win a 7-game series, especially without AD? I don't think so. So.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron is definitely he's trying to keep his non-first round. I don't think he's ever lost in the first round.
Never has.
To keep that alive, he's gonna have to come through with like 35 points per game, and he's gonna have to turn into 2018 LeBron.
Well, he's gonna need more. He's gonna need somebody, whether Kuzma, Caruso, somebody has to step up and kind of. Or a couple guys have to step up and kind of make up for what you're losing with AD being out. And
they got effort too. I feel like effort's a big thing because I don't necessarily see the effort from the Lakers because Phoenix is, like you said, they're young, they're energetic, they're everywhere, they're chasing every loose ball, their hands are on every ball. But the Lakers almost look like, we'll just coast to a championship. So
yeah, but that's the thing. They're the defending champions, and it's almost like we got this. Yeah. We're not worried. We got this. And, until when AD went down, for the first time, you kind of saw him like, oh, crap.
It's like, oh, shit.
Oh, crap. What do we do? So
our guy who can get 22 foul shots in a game is out. What are we going to do?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think they have to. Ultimately, they got to show a lot more sense of urgency if they really. Otherwise, they will. It's funny to say the 2 seed is being the underdog, but if they don't want to get upset by the 2 seed, they're going to have to show more sense of urgency.
Yes, sir. So, moving on to the next series, the other LA team, They went down 0-2 and they became the brunt of many jokes as far as the wiki page being turned that these are Luka's sons and all kinds of bad talk. The pandemic P, like, okay, so where's Kawhi going next? All this kind of stuff was all over the social media and even like national shows. But they managed to, through Kawhi's exemplary play and playoff P actually showing up, they were able to take the next 2 games in very convincing fashion. And in game 3, Luka had a mysterious injury, a shoulder, neck, nerve
looked like a stinger.
Stinger that came out of nowhere seemingly. And Kristaps has been very bad. Yeah. And then Tim Hardaway has, since game 1 and 2, Tim Hardaway has completely disappeared
for the again.
Yeah, he's become Tim Hardaway again. And then in game 4, Kawhi made it a personal challenge to guard Luka. It paid dividends. So just like the AD question, like, what do y'all think do you think this Luka neck Chris Paul like injury is something to worry about, or is Dallas cooked, or are they going to continue to keep this Clippers hilarity train going?
Yeah. I mean, neck and shoulder injuries are tricky because it's hard to necessarily pinpoint a solution to them and whatnot. And like I said, it could be a pinched nerve. It could be stinger, something, whatever. But, if you, I don't know if he's going to see a chiropractor or how he's going to work the kinks out, but he's got to do it soon because, of course it affects your play because, like, as someone who's had, like, stingers and stuff, you get numbness, and whatnot. Limits the range of motion in your neck. You can't see the court as well. So, I mean, it could potentially, depending on if he can't get it on the wraps in the next day or two. Yeah, they could definitely give the Clippers a chance to get back into the series and potentially take it over.
Well, they back in this thing already. Now it's just a
matter. Well, I'm just talking about taking it over.
Right.
I like Luka Doncic, but I've watched him enough to know that Luka is a European and he is a soccer fan. He tends to bring some of that European acting over here, like you see in the Euro leagues. They were already down like 20 at that point when he had gone out. I think he was done for the night. Not to say he wasn't hurt, but maybe it was played up just a little bit more than what it actually was. And he was a little frustrated. He's still a little young, so I think we're going to see Luka come back out and mysteriously he's a lot better, and he goes for 35 again. But if it's real, if it is like a serious injury, they're done. I mean, Luka is the reason that team's in the playoff. That's it. Kristaps didn't carry him. Tim Hardaway's a good wingman. Maxi Kleber, come on.
What?
That's Jalen Brunson's the fourth name you should mention.
Oh God. I mean,
don't take jabs at Kleber.
Brunson has really never done much.
I mean, it's sad, but they're probably the best player.
Yeah, I mean,
who else is maybe
Richardson?
He's not. No.
Yeah, he was supposed to be so good. He was supposed to be their 3-and-D guy.
Yeah, he was a huge disappointment.
And I mean, Kristaps hasn't been the same since New York. But yeah, I mean, you take Luka off that team, they win 20 games.
Yeah.
So
my thing when I saw when he first started saying that shoulder thing in game 3, I almost wondered if it was I don't know what to call it, but it's seeing how little his teammates decided to show up. It's almost okay, well, let me just go ahead and say I have this shoulder injury so that if we do lose this series, I can go ahead and just put it on that. You know what I mean?
So you're saying he's got the LeBron cast out, post final cast out. Hey, why you got a cast in here? Yeah, man, I broke it after game 1, and I played with a broken hand the entire series.
LeBron was my hand was broken, right? It's wait, no, we didn't know that because it wasn't on the injury report. I wonder what Luka was getting into on that second night in LA. What
up to nothing.
Where did you sleep, Luka? Why is your neck messed up?
He might have got one of them escorts, and they tried to give him a massage.
He hit up this. I won't go there. Sorry.
I was about to say I hope you're not saying what I think you're about to say.
Hey man, same state. It could potentially be the same state. So just to wrap that up, what do y'all? Does this change your prognosis of this series? Who do you think will win it now?
No healthy Luka, Clippers in 6. Healthy Luka, Mavericks in 7.
You said healthy Luka what?
Mavericks in 7.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll say Clippers regardless.
Okay. So another injury to talk about. Golly. So Joel Embiid last night, in what was supposed to be a rout in the closing of that series, he went down just like AD. I'm these big dudes need to stop acting like they're forwards, like they're small forwards. It always happens when these big dudes try to do athletic things, even though they can. It always ends up oh my God, why is he moving that fast? Stop! This is not going to end well. So he went up. I think he was trying to get a rebound or dunk it, or I forget exactly what he was trying to do. But he came down very hard on his back. Stood up immediately, holding his lower back. They sent him to the back, and basically they said that it was a knee injury, which I thought was a little weird. But I'll sort of let Mike talk about that one. But So I know this, and the result of that was also, I want y'all to sort of talk about this. At the end of the game, when Ben Simmons was the only player, I mean, obviously they still had Tobias Harris and Seth. So I think it was a little embarrassing that they lost to Washington, even with Embiid gone. But they employed the hack-a-Ben. Scotty Brooks employed the hack-a-Ben philosophy where because Ben Simmons going into that game was 0 for 10 from the free throw line in this series. So they did the hack-a-Ben. They were able to keep the lead. He went 3 for 6 down the stretch. So two things. Just comment a little bit on Embiid's injury. And then obviously this series is sort of a wrap. Bertans, by the way, he's out for the rest of this series. 4 to 6 weeks if they win. Oh, well, they're not winning. So he can go ahead and go home and book his vacation.
Right. See you, Davis.
But past this series, what is this? Ben Simmons is still a liability is what I'm trying to say. What does this mean down the road past this series in terms of their championship implications?
You know what it means. Because you know who we play next.
Right.
If Embiid is out, we could win that series easily. They definitely go from Eastern Conference Finals favorites to they're done in the next round that they play in. Embiid is just that important for that team. There's a reason he was an MVP in the MVP discussion and probably going to win it or could win it.
Jokic is going to win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it just depends. Like, if you're in competition with Jokic for the way Jokic played this year for MVP, and he's a better defender than Jokic, like, you can't lose that type of player and get past the next round. And plus, Ben Simmons, man. Like, you're a point guard, my guy, and they're hacking you on purpose.
Right.
Like, what? Joel Embiid, who's bigger than you, stronger than you, and bigger hands than you, doesn't, like, shoots better than you. Well, what is your excuse? Other than you're just not putting in the time.
Oh, man. He's putting in time. Just don't know what he's putting the time into.
Playing video games.
He's just running. He's just running suicide. That's literally all he does. He dribbles and runs suicide.
Call a Kardashian. You know, maybe look at TikTok.
Oh man, yeah, it's bad. There are only a handful of guards that I've ever considered yeah, that dude is a hack. Just foul that dude and put him on the line. That's the best bet. It's him, Andre Roberson, and what was the guy that used to play for the Hawks?
Which
Bembry.
Oh, Bembry.
Bembry. Yeah.
God, Bembry.
Bembry would like chew on his mouthpiece like Steph and then Brick too.
Bruh, you talk, like they're in an elite class of 40% free throw shooters. They shoot worse than bigs. So, it's bad, bro. It's like I talked to some of my other friends about it, and I'm like, bro, it is so bad. Like, everybody loves Ben Simmons, but I'm like, what does Ben Simmons provide other than ball handling and passing? Because offensively, he literally, he's not a scorer. He has a hook shot around he's either dunks or hook shots. Like, bro, who are you? Like, were you a 60s throwback?
Yes.
Like a 60s big player.
Genuinely, yes, he is.
Hook shot. like for real.
Because they're employing the same tactics they employed on Wilt Chamberlain.
Right.
Same team and everything.
Philly fans are like, no, not again.
Sad thing is he's the primary ball handler, so you can't really avoid it.
Right.
You can't really avoid. As soon as he inbound, just let him inbound the ball and foul him. Just wrap him up. See, if Joel is hurt, fairly seriously hurt and we get past the Knicks, right? Say we close it out and we play them in the next round.
When we close it out.
Okay, yeah. Like you said, win. All right, so we play Philly in the next round. If there is no Joel Embiid, I'm putting Chris Dunn in the game and be like, go at it. You have 6 fouls, sir. Go. Just go. Wherever Ben is, wrap him up. That's all I.
Right.
So you have 6. We will give you the faster you can get those 6. Like we're gonna get close to the bonus, and every time he gets the ball on the inbound, just wrap him up. That's all we want.
Just denied Tobias, wrap up Ben. That's the plan. That's the plan. Seth Curry can get going. Who cares what Seth Curry does? Him and Danny Green can shoot all the threes they want.
It's like I want Ben Simmons to shoot 75 free throws. If he shoots 75 free throws, we win this game. Even if he hits 50%, we win this game. Oh man.
Yeah, so in terms, like, I think that the reason why, I know you were saying you were high on Philly sort of a week ago, Ryan, but the reason I still had the Bucks above them is because Giannis and Ben Simmons used to have the same exact problem in the playoffs. But Giannis has sort of found a way to get past that because he added some hooks to his game, added a little mid-range game. He'll pull up he's not afraid to shoot the three. He still can't shoot it, but he's not afraid to anymore. And then
at least try now.
Right, and then you have Drew Holiday who takes the ball out of Chris Middleton's hands, so Chris Middleton can't make bad decisions.
God, the worst.
Right. So I still have them as, unfortunately, they're playing Brooklyn, who is my number one. But yeah, Philly is definitely in trouble as long as Ben Simmons is on their team. I'll just put it like that. Joel there or not. I mean, Joel would take them to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I think as long as Ben Simmons is on your team, you're always going to be a problem. Like, I don't think they can put up enough points to beat the Nets. Like, even if they get past us.
Harvey's in the building. One, he said, tell Bruno Fernando to headbutt the shit out of Tobias Harris.
Yeah, I'd use him too. I'd utilize him too for fouls too.
Have him playing like J. Cole for real.
Yeah, like, bro, you have 18 fouls between Solo, Bruno Fernando, and Chris Dunn. Just grab Ben every time you see him. Just grab him.
But yeah, so, and then last but not least, I want to get y'all's quick opinions on this Portland series. So, Portland, I'm going to ask it like this. So Portland tied up the series. Obviously, they took game one like they always do. Portland always takes game one, and then they quit for the rest of the series. But so Denver took the next two, but then Portland on Carmelo's birthday, rallied the troops. And the crazy thing was Dame didn't even have a good game, and they still won going away. So my question to y'all is if Jokic beat Portland by himself, regardless of how bad Portland's defense is, if MPJ doesn't step up to like 25 points per game, can Jokic beat Portland?
Yeah, because Portland's one of those teams that just isn't good enough defensively that, you could let Jokic go off for 40 to 50 on you a couple times in a series, and that's enough because he'll probably get 40 to 50 from his supporting cast as well, and they could beat you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I believe, yeah, like you said, Nurkic is soft. SOF capital T. Soft.
Nurkic is soft, and he be throwing games.
Bruh. So, Jokic could easily go off. And because Jokic is such a good passer and has such great court vision, he's going to get other guys involved. So even if he's putting up 35 or 40, he can, even if, I don't think MPJ necessarily had to put up 25. If he spreads the ball around enough where he's going to get other people easy baskets. And so I think it's going to be hard for Portland to compete against that because, I mean, like you said, they're not very good defensively, and they're
not that they're just not good. They're like one of the worst I've ever seen. Like, they literally have Robert Covington at center.
Well, they took Houston's method of like, oh, that Houston team didn't make the Western Conference Finals last year.
Right.
Let's recreate that.
He got CJ McCollum made Austin Rivers look like he made him look like Jamal Murray in game one. I was like, what is going on out here? How you gonna let Austin Rivers come down the court and talk shit to you? Like, don't do that. But to answer my own question, I do not think Jokic can beat Portland without a clear-cut number 2 guy. I don't think he can do it because even in all these games he's been unstoppable. But as long as Nurkic doesn't foul himself out of the games like he did in game 2 and 3, like just putting his hand on Jokic so they call the fouls, like, bro, I think as long as Nurkic doesn't completely just foul himself out of games, I don't think that Denver's going to be able to do enough offense. Missing Jamal is so huge that you need somebody. Jamal was going off for 50. He went off for 53 times in last year's in the bubble in the Mickey Mouse tournament.
Mickey Mouse ring. That's every LeBron comment section. Mickey Mouse ring.
In the Mickey Lives the sponsored by Black Lives Matter tournament. So yeah, I do think I like Portland's chances for me have gone up just because I have not seen Michael Porter Jr. do what I think he needs to do. Yeah. So moving on. Hawks talk. Hey, actually, I have a bird. Look, I have a bird mask.
Wow.
Oh, well, I won't do that now. I'll do that.
I was about to say, you're going to give some people some nightmares, man.
I put it on. No, I literally had this. Like, I bought my bird mask. It's funny now because masks are going away, but I think this is like the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh God.
And it moved.
Do the whole segment like
The Hawks, baby. Yes, sir. So the Hawks are up 3-1. Am I sounding too muffled?
Yeah, you're really muffled.
Yeah.
Okay. I won't do the segment with the Hawk.
It's like you're talking into a cone or something.
It's crazy because I have the yellow one for the Hawks, and then they also sent me a black one that I have for the Falcons. So that's pretty cool. Bird mask. I think it's like a company. If y'all want a bird mask, go get your bird mask. So anyway, the Hawks are up 3-1, convincingly up 3-1. The last game we shellacked them. The game before, we were pretty much up by double digits going through the third and the fourth, and I think they came back a little bit. Pretty much this whole series, we've been primed to blow these fools out almost every single game, and it's only been like mishaps or referees calling 30 fouls for the Knicks that have kept them in these games. Like, they're literally no match for us. And with my PTSD, it's really hard for me to say that. It's hard for me to trust my eyes when I watch professional sports because what you see usually isn't always what you get. But we look so much better than them. It's crazy. So the first thing I want to sort of talk about is Clint Capella's comments. I want to get y'all's reaction to this because we usually don't have Atlanta players. We're usually more like in the school of the Julio Jones is, with the guys who don't say anything but then go cry for contracts. Julio, I didn't mean to put you down, Julio. I had to take a shot. But yeah, so Atlanta athlete speaking boldly. So let me read you some of the things he said. So he said, I don't know if they're physical, but they're trying to play physical. I feel like if they were really physical, I think we'd have more problems than we've had. They are trying to play tough, push our guys around and talk shit. But we can do that too. We showed them as soon as we came back here that we can do that too. We can push guys around too. We can talk shit as well. So what you gonna do about it? Oh, and we can get the win with it. So what you gonna do about it? And what did he say down here? He said, now we're coming to your home to win this game again and send you on vacation. Clint, he's going hard. A couple other things. He said, it's two different games. We play hard because we're playing the right way, and we win games that way. When you're playing hard because that's your last solution, I don't take that as playing hard team. And then there's one more thing I wanted to read.
I missed that part of it. I like that.
Right. One thing was interesting. I'll just throw this in here while I'm looking for it. But Derrick Rose, I don't know if y'all all saw this, but right after Julius Randle gave Danilo the little forearm shiver and went to the bench, like all his teammates were like high-fiving him. Derrick Rose was just sitting on the bench in the back, just like looking at him. Was like, you motherfucker, you do all that, but you can't even score points. Like, you're not helping the team, bro. The way he was looking at Julius was hilarious. He was like,
you
bro.
heard his comments, D. Rose's comments about commenting on all this?
Yeah, he said, I was about to read. He said, I'm too old for that, was basically what he said.
I'm too old for that shit. He pulled, what's his face?
Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Sergeant Murtaugh.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, the 32-year-old who's leading the Knicks with 22.8 points per game. God, Julius, such a bum. And there was one more I wanted to find. Okay, he said, I was like, all right, and that says it all. Okay, because Julius pretty much said that he wasn't trying to hurt him. He was just trying to send a message with a hard foul. And Capella responded to that when the press asked him. He said, I was like, all right, that says it all. You don't have any more solutions but playing that way. You think you're playing hard doing fouls like that, but that's not the game. If you can play hard the right way, that's not playing hard. Those flagrant fouls, those are not in the game fouls. You're just trying to look physical, but it's not working. It's kind of a last solution. And that's what I was trying to find, where he said they're just trying to look physical. They don't actually play physical. I was like, damn, Clint.
Hey.
So
I love Clint.
All right. So how do y'all feel about this? What was y'all's first reaction when y'all heard him talking like this on the Knicks so candidly?
Bruh. I typically don't like when our players, because it so off, like you said, I have PTSD, and so many times when somebody like, Roddy White or somebody goes running their mouth, it often comes back to bite us. But he ain't wrong. I mean, like I said, when you're down, it's not you're not playing hard, you're not playing tough, you're frustrated. That's what it is. It's like that dude who's getting beat down and throws a sucker punch because you're getting worn up and down. Like in football, like you're literally getting pancake blocked by that offensive lineman every play. So you do something dirty, like you try and take his knee out after a play is over. I mean,
get it in the pile, try to get some.
Yeah. I mean, that's essentially what it was. It's like, bruh, y'all are getting spanked, and no matter what adjustments y'all make, you're still getting spanked. Like, you can't score. You got, what's his name down there? Taj Gibson down there trying to bullying and hustling for rebounds and stuff, and then airballing bunnies, and
that fast break layup he tried.
Which is sad because Derek and Taj are the Bulls' best players. I mean, the Bulls. I mean, the Knicks' best players right now.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. Now, granted, Taj has annoyed me in this series because he crashes the boards like crazy,
and he holds a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Every pick is a hug. Every time he sets a screen, he hugs the person he's setting the screen on. But like I said though, it's frustration. That's all it is. You don't have any solutions. So the best way to get back is just to throw a cheap shot. Reggie Bullock, 0 points, had more fouls than points, and you throwing flagrants and stuff like you're sending a message. But it's like, bro, who are you scaring? I'm already up, bro. You're not intimidating me. You just, guess what? Look at the scoreboard, bro. You're still catching the L. So enjoy this hot L and keep it moving.
Y'all remember that that one basketball clip? It's actually out of like forget, something Creek, one of the high schools here. Like Stone Creek, I think. But they're at the free throw line, and that guy turns next to the guy he's about to box out, and he's like, and the guy that gets his face clapped and looks back at him, goes, and then points at the scoreboard, and the camera cuts over the scoreboard, and they're down like 30.
Right.
It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, whose face are you clapping in? Like, we're dragging y'all. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like so many of their tactics are Bush League. Ever since game one where Bullock came and he just like threw DeAndre Hunter on that fast break, got that flagrant one. He should have been ejected for that. It's like, that was just ridiculous. And then like tripping Trey, Noel's tripped Trey. The last couple games has been extremely chippy. But yeah, Clint's right. These dudes they're just playing like talentless thugs. Like they're trying to like embody the Knicks spirit, but they're not as tough as those guys in the 90s. You know what I mean?
They're exactly like those teams though.
But they're just not as tough because, those guys would play tough and make you play their style of game. The Knicks don't have a style of game. Their style of game is let Julius Randle go out there and make a fool of himself. That's their style of game. And now that he's struggling, it's pretty much just, okay, Derrick Rose, see what you can do one-on-one against Trey, which is everything.
Here's the funny thing. I remember the play where Herter grabbed Nerlens Noel's leg and dumped him on the ground. And everybody was like, "Oh, that play is uncalled for." But what nobody talked about is the reason he did it is because Nerlens stuck his knee out on that screen to make sure he caught and tripped Herter. So as he basically dead legged Herter, and Herter's response was grab his leg and like just lift him up. And I mean, it's like, bro, you know what you did. Right. Now, granted, it's like they say, the second person always is typically the one that got caught. But like I said, if you didn't stick your knee out like that, Herter wouldn't have just, if you had just set a normal pick, Herter wouldn't have grabbed you in the first place. It was because, like I said, that extra stick your knee out to catch him and try to trip him up to create more space for your guy. That's the reason why it happened.
The Knicks are probably one of the worst screen-setting teams I've ever seen. All of them are really bad, and they all move so much.
Mm-hmm. Right, because I think it's just the style because they've just been so used to just watching Julius Randle do whatever the hell he wants to all season. And it's like he's not – Julius Randle, first of all, he can only go left, which I don't know why in the third quarter we started to let him go left when we haven't done that the whole entire season. I mean, the whole entire series. He just kept going left and sort of started getting going a little bit, because that's all he can do. He can really only go left. And I think because he operates from the college 3 and in, it's like, yeah, you're right. A lot of their screens are a little impromptu. They're just like maybe not in a set. Maybe they weren't really told to do that screen. They're just sort of going over there. It's like, but yeah, but Micah to me said it best. It's like they're a lot like that kid who's losing, so they try to hurt you. You know what I mean? That kid who's like sees that he's clearly outclassed, so his best bet is to try to take your leg out. You know what I mean?
Like the Lions head coach.
Right.
Want to take a leg.
Take his kneecap. First, we're going to take his kneecap. Then, we're going to take his ankle. Then, we're going to take his elbow. Like, yo, what in the hell are you talking about? So, moving on, I want to just ask real quick about these Knicks players. Give me your opinion on, is Julius Randle a one-season pretender? And is Derrick Rose the best player on the Knicks right now?
Yes.
To both.
Yeah.
Oh man. I think Julius Randle is a regular season. He's a guy who can put up all kinds of numbers in the regular season, but when it actually matters, his game doesn't translate. It's Derrick Rose is the best player on the Knicks, though. He has rejuvenated and he's playing Now, granted, he's not as athletic as he was, but you're seeing glimpse of Chicago Bulls, Derrick Rose again, and like that passion, that love for the game and whatnot. You're starting to see that again.
Yeah, I think first of all, for my prediction for Julius Randle next season is that he goes back down to like he loses like 5 points per game, and it's back to like 20 points maybe. And then, like, I don't think he'll have the same kind of season because obviously the Knicks are in a position where they think they can compete. So they're probably going to add a person who's going to make it so it can't just be the Julius Randle show, which doesn't win anything. And then on the Derrick Rose thing, I think it's funny how Derrick Rose, it's like, I don't think Derrick Rose was, besides the fact we all know he got injured, but it's like since he's been back, the dude has proven that he hasn't really fallen off. Like, it was 2 seasons ago that he dropped 50 when he was playing for Detroit. And I feel like every season it's always Derrick Rose, he's back. Like, how many times is he going to come back?
Did you hear his post-game interview about that?
What did he say?
That he was saying, because they were asking him, like, how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? Because, 39 minutes is a long time. He's like, man, look, like, I've been doing this for a while. Like that was all y'all saying I have like minute restrictions. He's like, I play for 2 hours straight in practice. Like,
right.
39 minutes ain't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know what? You're right. Derrick Rose never said he couldn't do this. It was everyone else.
Right. And it's like, it's not even like he was just doing it in practice. Like, he was literally doing it on TV, like in front of people. He was like averaging 18 points off the bench. It's like, okay, he's done. Okay. But somehow like players like Lou Will aren't done yet. But what I'll say is that it's been a pleasure to see Derrick Rose play this well, despite, he's too good for that Knicks team. He needs to go somewhere else ASAP and just
Derrick Rose needs to be our backup point guard.
Right. Let them just die in the cellar. Like, yeah, he could come and be our Lou Will, because I don't think Lou Will might retire. Man. Just going forward, what you got something to say?
Oh yeah, I will say this. There is one person who is most upset to see Derrick Rose rejuvenate his career is their other point guard,
Elfrid Payton.
Elfrid Payton. It was like, I was a starter. I was getting 20 minutes a game. So, meanwhile, he didn't even take his shirt off the last game. He didn't even take the overshirt off.
Right, he looked so sad over there.
Ntilikina got the minutes that he was supposed to get.
It's funny, him and what's his face? Like, why are him and Bullock? Does Elfrid Payton still have that thing on his head he used to have, or did he cut it off?
He cut it off.
Yeah.
Well, why did Bullock decide to take the torch and put one on his head? Like, what is that thing?
Bullock's looks a lot better than what Elfrid's looked like.
Oh my god,
it does, but it's still
Elfrid's
terrible.
looked like it weighed like a solid 8 pounds.
It's still terrible.
Like he had a crown.
The little thing pointing at you.
Like he had a crown of hair.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
So
man.
predictions for Game 5. What does Atlanta need to do? Obviously, the only way the Knicks can win is if Julius Randle has, a good game, and if Derrick Rose, there's a lot of stuff they're gonna have to do to win, because RJ had a good game last one. Julius had a good, no, he didn't, but Derrick had a good game. I think Quickly had a good game. They still got blown out. So, what do the Hawks have to do to make sure that we don't have to come back to Atlanta with this?
Well, as far as like Julius Randle playoffs standards, that was a really good game for him. He at least shot above 20%.
Right. I know, right? He was 9 for 27.
He was 7 of 19.
Less than that.
7 of 19.
7 of 19.
Yeah, so decent. For them to come back to Atlanta,
that's not decent, actually. That's pretty bad.
It's okay. I think Trey shot worse than that. Trey shot 9 of 21.
Well, that's 18. It's about the same. 18.
Yeah.
Because I just go by what's half of that, and 7 to 14 versus 7 to 19. It's a little worse.
But
my calculator out.
It's actually the same percentage.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It sounds about the same.
Yeah, 9 of 21, 7 of 9. Yeah, that's just 2 more shots. 2 more shots made. what do they have to do? Like RJ Barrett's gonna have to drop like 30. D Rose is gonna have to drop like 30. Julius Randle's gonna have to put up between 15 and 20. DeAndre Hunter has to stay ice cold. I mean, a lot has to happen. John Collins has to cool back off. Gallinari has to cool back off. There's no way. Not to say there's no way, but they have to play perfect to win.
By the way, so Trey's percentage was 42. Randall's was 36.
Yeah.
Really? Oh yeah, because you go up. Yeah, duh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have to play perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. They legitimately have to play pretty much perfect game because offensively, they're not a great offensive team. Like I said, the reason they've made so many changes to their rosters because their backups were better scorers than their starters. So they have to, like, we are a much superior shooting team. So we have to shoot poorly and they have to shoot well for them to have a shot to beat us. If we shoot the way we've shot the past 2 games, or 3 out of the 4 games, they don't really. Outside of the last 2 games, if we shoot anywhere close to where we shot the past 2 games, they don't. I don't see them having a shot.
And the way Trey steps up under that hostile Madison Garden, I think he'll get his 3-point because he's been pretty bad in the last 2 in terms of 3-point shooting. Maybe he'll get that back on, and hopefully it's just like you said, we don't get those game 2 coldness. But regardless, if we don't win in 5, I think we'll still, close it out in 6. I'm not really afraid of a game 7, but I really want us to shut the door on them in this game. So
I want to shut them. I want to shut that door in New York.
Right,
like
big,
emphatically.
Yeah, emphatically. Like,
and then I want to see Trey walk up to Spike and do the 2K. Bye.
And close up on Dolan, see Dolan's face while all this is going on. So yeah, so that pretty much does it for the Hawks talk. What was that face, Ronnie? You look confused. You good? What? Can you hear me? Who can hear me? Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Ryan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh.
I was muted.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you look confused for a second.
I was good.
Okay. All right, so that's it.
Now here comes the suicide squeeze. This is our baseball segment, people. So first things first.
I'm the realist.
It is a very, very monumentous day. It marks the 10-year anniversary of one of the most memorable meltdown / tirades in baseball history, where former Mississippi Braves manager Phillip Wellman goes off for almost 3.5 minutes, where he proceeded to cover the plate with dirt, rip all of the bases out of the holes, throw them into the outfield, and he finished it with a crawl on his stomach from second base up to the mound. He picks up the rosin bag, bites it like he's biting the pin out of a grenade, and then throws it towards the umpire like a grenade. It is the 10-year anniversary of that tirade, and it's still hilarious to watch.
The best ever.
Yeah, it's still hilarious to watch to this day. To this day. So now we get on to the actual Braves news. So first things first, Ronnie Acuna did his first interview in English, which was a big thing because typically he has a translator. He still has a translator, but it's good to see the kid smart and learning because I'm trying to. I asked Marco earlier. It's like how they communicate in the dugout when he doesn't. I think Albies has to be the translator. Like how does he talk to Freddie and stuff like that? So
he doesn't. I can't even talk to Ozuna.
Oh God. So yeah, speaking of Ozuna, terrible news. So Marcel Ozuna spent all that money on him, and he gets in trouble for a domestic dispute. I'm not going to go deep into what all happened because I don't really fully know what all happened.
Oh, I know the whole police report. Yeah, I read the whole thing.
Oh, for real?
I can tell you what happened.
I heard like he heard his wife was cheating, and then he grabbed her by the throat and like slammed her against the wall.
And saw him actively with his hands on her neck.
Yeah.
But I mean, Springs. It was in Sandy Springs.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so he gets in trouble. So my question to you guys is: should the Braves wait and see what the league punishment is going to be to decide whether they'll keep him, or should they just cut their losses and just release him, and regardless of what the MLB does to him?
I'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
Because this one's tough. As far as PR goes in this environment today, in this, this environment of everything hits the news and it spreads like wildfire, and there being a big movement in women's rights, women's treatment in society, and men being held accountable for their actions. Yeah, they have to cut him. There's no way you can survive this, like especially with this it's not like she said, and it's not a he said, she said. They were called to the house. They showed up. The door was wide open. So they have a call and a wide open door. They went inside and witnessed him literally pinning his wife to the wall, choking her out. So the police see it. Like, if they have their body cams on, it's probably on film too. So there's like no way that you can keep this man on your roster and survive the backlash that would be the public outrage and the calls from every battered women's institution and every victims advocate agency in the nation against you. If you do, then you're putting out a very mixed message to the world that domestic disputes and abuse are okay. Winning, though, trumps that. Or are not okay, but winning trumps that. And Marcel's going to help us win. Like, that's... I don't know how you could do that or how you could spin that. Unless, like even if she comes out and says, no, I was fighting him and hitting him and all that type of stuff, like, it doesn't... Like, you've won the fight when you're holding someone by their neck against the wall.
Yeah, man. He fucked up, man. So... he ruined his opportunity, man. So I don't think we can stand by him after this, just because it's a smoking gun. Like, they literally walked in and saw him, and like, I understand that there's, I don't empathize, but I understand how a person might get to that level of rage. But as a professional athlete and a person who, you need to find a better way to handle somebody cheating on you than beating their ass. I think it's best to just like leave. You know what I mean? At this, and he's 30 now, so you know what I mean? He's younger than all of us, but still, you've had enough years on this earth where you need to figure out better ways to resolve your conflicts. And then not only that, but then to continue to attack her when the police arrive. You know what I mean? Like, how long had to be going on? For a very long time. So, he's a masochist in this situation. He asked for what he got, and, he fucked up all the way. And there's no way we can stand by him.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you guys. It's not a good look, regardless. Even if she, as far as like, we don't know what all she could have, slept with his brother for all we know. But at the same time, you know, you are a public figure. So you have to be conscious of that, even despite what the situation is. So you can't, I don't care how mad she makes you, you have to always be conscious and wary and leery of what's going on and aware of what's going on. So, I mean, you screwed yourself in this situation, and this might potentially be something that could end your entire career, not let alone, your season and a stint with the team. So,
I do want to say, because I don't know if you were just formulating your thought there and it came out that way, but I want to clarify that it is never okay for this to happen, no matter what she did.
Oh, no.
Okay. That's what I thought. I was like, the way you phrased that made it seem like, well, we don't know what she did, but.
As far as I can understand the anger, I can understand the anger, but like I said, it's like I said, you can't put your hands on really anybody. And, I don't care. Like I said, even if she violated you to that extent, you cannot put your hands on her. And
right. Besides her threatening your life, besides her like having a button that if she presses it, your insides detonate. There's no excuse.
But nah, like that was all I was saying. I wasn't necessarily saying that it was okay or anything.
That's what I thought, because I was like, I think it's just the way you were trying to get your thoughts together, and it made it sound like I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
No.
I can understand the rage, but you have to be smarter. Now, like I said, you potentially could lose your career over this, and
probably will.
Yeah. So you're 30. Yeah, he's 30. I mean,
well, it depends, I think, if she decides to press charges or not. Because
but I mean, look at Ray Rice. His wife didn't press charges, and
it's because there was film. We saw it.
Yeah, it still ended his career. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm surprised Adrian Peterson played as long as he did, because the whole whipping his kid thing.
Yeah. Nobody cares about kids. Like that. People don't care about kids like that.
Yeah, but I mean, he missed a good bit of a season because of.
His wasn't even that bad.
He whipped his kid, and his kid was so light skinned that it bruised. And this is a completely different situation. And it sucks. It sucks because as a Braves fan, it's like, yo, why does this stuff always happen to Atlanta teams? You you spend this money, get a good player, and then they do something stupid,
But not to be too presumptuous, but with him doing this, it's almost like I don't think I want somebody like him in my locker room with Ronnie, who's Ronnie's young and impressionable, and he looks up to this guy almost. So you don't want him doing things like that, and then some of these younger guys thinking that it's okay to handle things like that. So,
but I don't necessarily. I don't know if this is like his personality or just a moment of blind rage. Oh, no, I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I mean, there are people in jail now who never committed a crime, and just one day something happened and they snapped and killed somebody. So to necessarily say that he's a bad influence on Ronnie, I can't say that. But I'm
just saying potentially he's potentially a bad influence. So if the potential's there and it shows itself this clearly, then it's almost like, okay, hey, this is our chance to get out of something that maybe could have been bad. But who knows?
Right. Well,
pray for both of them. I pray for both him and his wife. I hope they make it through this.
Right.
Yeah. So moving forward, Abraham Almonte is starting in Ozuna's place, and he was looking for his first hit tonight. What's up?
Related to that, I don't know if because you had mentioned Ronnie. That's what I wanted to say. You know the celebration that they did together, where they would like take the selfie together. They got rid of it.
Oh wow.
Acuna and them don't do it anymore because that was Ozuna's thing.
Oh wow.
So they don't.
They have a new one. You see all the tomahawk smash.
Yeah.
Where they come together and tomahawk smash.
And then they.
That one too. You saw the old lady doing it.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So to take Ozuna's place tonight is Abraham Almonte. I haven't really been keeping up with the game, so I don't know if he got his first hit tonight or not. So,
let's see. I was just looking at it. I forgot to check that though.
We are down.
We're down 6-4.
6-11. No, 5-11.
5. Oh wow, they scored even more. Wow.
This is a game we should probably win, right?
Yeah,
we're right around 500.
Well, no, this is when we start losing, when we get around 500.
Oh.
Let's see. Abraham Almonte 0 for 3.
Yeah, unfortunately. Right. But yeah, that's that concludes the Suicide Squeeze.
I'm gonna go ahead and bring up this. Let's go ahead and
next week we'll talk about how A-Rod wants to move the Minnesota Timberwolves to Seattle.
Let's see if we can get that full screen for you. Well, they can see that. We'll do that for them.
What is it?
Oops. Our lightning round question, so everyone can see it.
I can't see it.
You can if you just scroll down to the bottom of the rundown.
Oh.
So per Butter ATL at Butter ATL on Instagram. If y'all don't follow them, go ahead and give them a follow. Especially if you're in the Atlanta area, they're a really good follow. They put together one of those like you typically see, like make the best super team you can with $20, and they tier them out. Well, this one we got $20 to build a better Atlanta. For those of you listening on the podcast side of this, I'll go ahead and read out the columns to you. So on the $1 side, so you've got a column that goes $1, $3, $5, and then rows that go fix all the potholes on, and then it gives you roads, civic initiatives, bring back or reopen, new music from, record label, and a championship win.
Oh my God.
So the $1 column for fix all the potholes on is Howell Mill, then the $3 is Memorial Drive, then $5 is DeKalb Avenue. Civic initiatives, and I'll read from 1 to 5 every time. Give jobs to the Water Boys, defund Park Atlanta, or legalize it. You know what we're talking about. Bring back or reopen Sidetrack for adults, Graveyard Tavern, or Freaknik. New music from So Def, TLC, or Outkast. Record label LaFace, So Def, or Camp. And championship win would be United, the Hawks, and the Falcons. So now you know what we're working with here. Let's go ahead and obviously if you want to use all $20, or if you just want to get as close to it as you can, or just go low and do whatever you want. But I want to hear y'all's choices for this. Marco, I want to hear yours first.
I was thinking at first while I was reading this, I forgot. I was like, oh wait, it's 15. 15 made it tough. 20 makes it way too easy. But so I'm going, we're legalizing it.
We can take it down to 15 if you want.
No, that's fine. I get everything I want. So we're legalizing it. So we're getting
5.
New music from Outkast.
10.
We're getting a Falcon Super Bowl.
15.
We're getting a Hawks championship.
Well, no, what? No. You can only pick from one. Yeah.
What do you mean? It's my money to spend. What do you mean? I'm not picking any. I don't want any of these other things.
No, you have to pick at least one from each.
I don't want any of these other things.
Well, that's why you got to make these choices.
All right. So you want to think about it more?
No, I'm taking what I'm taking. You
can't take both of those.
All right.
Okay, fine. Wait, what do we do? Okay, I'll go. That's too much math then. Wait, hold on.
I'll keep
You
track.
go ahead, Micah. Fine.
All right.
Okay, so fix potholes on Memorial Drive.
3.
Defund Park Atlanta.
6.
Sidetrack for adults.
7.
Outcast album.
12.
LaFace record label.
13.
And Falcons Super Bowl.
18. Marco, you ready or you want me to go?
But so what has to be under 20? Are you sure it's
It has to
20
be. It has
or
to
under?
be.
Are you sure I can't pick multiple things in the
Yes.
same
That's
category?
not how this works. I don't know how long you've been on social media. That's not how it works.
I don't play by your rules.
Obviously. Bring me the real Marco. I'm tired of this actor.
Go ahead, man.
This character.
Sorry, the Hawks have to be a casualty to my Falcons in this scenario.
I'm going to go fix all the potholes on Howell Mill.
All right, 1.
Legalize it.
6.
Sidetrack for adults.
7.
Outcast.
12.
This is where I struggle. I'll take
How?
I'll take So Def and then Falcons.
So
That's
So
20.
yeah, so you got 20 on the dot.
Yeah, because it was
So-So
either
Def-
So Def and Falcons or Camp and Hawks. But I figured,
Yeah.
Camp's kind of, that music is kind of outdated now.
Baby D.
So deaf music. What the hell they make that's still dated?
They were a little more versatile though.
Yeah. You got Usher was on So Def.
Right.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Hold on, I'm gonna look that up. I thought he
Doing
was like
all
on.
this except picking it. Except picking it the right way.
I thought Usher was on. Let's see.
Like
I thought he was on the face.
You had Bow Wow. He might have been on the face, but I know he worked with So Def a lot. I think he might have been on early because Jermaine Dupri made a lot of his early tracks. And
I think Babyface was the first person to discover him.
So Def has managed artists such as Bow Wow, Criss Cross, TLC, and Usher.
Yeah.
Okay, management versus who put out their records though. But
Yeah.
so let me go ahead and do this list for y'all. Wow. Ruin my dreams. I guess I hate Howell Mill. I don't care if they fix that terrible road, but I'll go with Howell Mill just because
I drive it every day, unfortunately.
I hate how what they need to do is expand the lanes, not fix potholes.
Yeah.
Civic initiatives, definitely legalize it. I go sidetrack for adults. Like I don't really care about any of those three though. Outcast for sure. LaFace. They're the ones who had the best music out of this group.
8.
And then what am I at?
13.
I'll go Hawks. Hawks.
No, so 16.
I like it.
So I'm gonna go back and fix the Cab Avenue then.
So you picked the Cab Avenue and legalize it for your two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
cool.
Wow. So 15, 16, 17, 20 on the dot.
You could go legalize it, Outcast, and Falcons, and then just pick ones from there.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't want.
Who really wants Freaknik back?
Yeah, no, like that was a nightmare.
like
traffic for this city. If you think traffic is bad now,
I saw some very interesting pictures when I was like 10 back in the day, but
same. My uncle.
What's going on there, mommy?
The VHS tapes.
No, it wasn't that. It was other friends showed me. Hey man, look at this girl.
I got the t-shirts.
This girl lifts her whole dress up.
From Uncle Tony. Like, Uncle Tony, why are you a menace out here?
Oh man.
I'm trying to figure out if an elephant just found on the stairs upstairs. That does it for us though.
It's pretty funny that Camp is worth $5 though. Like why?
Camp is one of the most underrated labels in Atlanta history. I think
DJ Baby D. Who else?
DJ Jelly is still doing his thing though. That's the funny thing because when we did Bronner Brothers show last February, he was still up there. He's no longer selling mixtapes, but he's selling streaming services on his website, and it was like $20 a month. I'm like, bro, I pay $9.99 for Spotify. I'm not paying $20 to stream your music.
To stream Camp, to stream DJ Unk and Baby D.
Oh, now walk it out.
DJ
now walk it out.
Oh, that was a good time. That was a good time in Atlanta history. I enjoyed that music. Yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here and let's call it a night. Y'all got anything to say before we leave?
Nah.
Eat
Marco?
your vegetables.
And on that note, we will catch you next time. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure to go ahead and I waited until the end again. Next time I'm just gonna open the episode with subscribe.
Every segment, we're gonna badger you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on the notifications, and then welcome our brand new, not head of, we'll call him the king of marketing, Harvey Weinberg, to the fold. But yeah, we appreciate y'all tuning in, and we will catch you next time. Peace.
Yeah. And if you like fish and grits and all that sports shit, everybody, let me hear you say, oh, yay. Oh, yay.